Hello again, and welcome to the fourth installation of this matchup chart. Only one left after this one. So yeah, we'll be covering the Smash 4 characters, including the Mii's. Um, oh goodness. And that's it. You know how this works. Without further ado, Villager is our first one. V for Villager. Um, I'm now a lot of the Belmonts don't like this matchup. I think it's okay. I don't see any massive annoyances with it. You know, he turtles. He tries to keep you out with slingshot, back air, forward air. Lloyd Rocket is just inconsequential because you can just you can forward tilt it and it'll just explode. Um, and then forward air, back air. You can either neutral air or dash attack, or just walk and shield. And then once you get within sort of whip range, if you shield or you can sort of, if they don't space it correctly or don't space it low enough to the ground, you can forward air or back air out of shield to start advantage. Or if you are within dash attack range and you think they're going to do it, you can dash attack and it'll eat the pellet of the forward air or back air. And again, you'll just clip them for like 8 damage, and then you'll just send them off, and then they've got to recover, or they've got to get out of the corner. So yeah, it's not the worst matchup, but obviously once they do win, it's difficult. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of just sort of slowly walking forward, making sure that you're just not running in blindly, because if you start running in blindly and you just charge at them, you're just going to get swatted away. You're going to lose stage control. And then once you're off stage, villagers really good at just sort of just like edge guarding, like lingering there works, forward air, back air. Bowling ball not so much because you can tether and mix up your up B. But yeah, like neutral wise, it's a lot. It's annoying. Um, but once you sort of get in, and once you do get that hit, the villager sort of crumbles. You don't really want to use cross or your projectiles in this matchup that much until you're in advantage, because of pocket. One thing I will say about pocket is make them pocket cross. Do not give them axe because they can just like down throw axe and you'll die at like 60. And obviously holy water is bad for obvious reasons that you don't get it back. Whereas crosses, you can still throw another cross once they've pocketed one. And obviously, it's not the worst thing in the world to get hit by. You will take like 20 damage for getting hit by it, but it's fairly easy to sort of see coming. And obviously, it does do the normal cross properties where it has a returning hitbox as well, so it will turn around. But you can easily shield it, and you'll be all right, really. So yeah, just sort of like slowly inching forward in neutral by walking and shielding. They do have good grab combos, but again, their grab is like frame 13 or frame 12. It's kind of like really bad. It's really slow. It's really predictable, but they do get a lot of reward off of it. Um, so yeah, try and just don't jump a lot. Just walk forward and shield. Forward tilt any Lloyd rockets. Start advantage. Dash attack can be a good burst option to get through. Um, but yeah, apart from that, they don't have the greatest tools. Apart from that, um, Nair isn't that great for them. Apart from if they're gimping you or to combo, can be annoying if you get a forward air off the stage. They chain into forward airs, just DI down and away, and you can sometimes just fall out. But then if you're too far off stage, they can sort of just like gimp you with things. Um, but the struggle is just once you get hit, it's annoying. But again, no more so than any other character really. It's just that neutral is a lot different from what you need to be doing. Um, but yeah, like once you're off stage, again, very easy for them to sort of edge guard you. Even weak forward air will cause you to explode, but you can neutral air that. If they nair you off stage, you're probably dead. Tree can cover quite a lot. Bowling ball can cover a lot if they're precise with it. But again, they really should just be edge guarding you. And then when you've got them on ledge, Again, just wait for them. You can just sit a roll distance, tip a F tilt distance, and just wait really. The balloons play have a bit of a shenanigans with axe, um, because if they up B and they snap ledge, if you throw axe just a little bit before it, the axe will hit the balloons, and then that will cause the hit lag will freeze the axe in place for a second, and then they grab ledge. Their invincibility will run out, so you can just cover the neutral get up with holy water. The axe will cover jump and stay on ledge at the same time, depending on obviously your timing. Um, so yeah, the hit lag from the balloons can make Axe do some really funny things. So Axe is always pretty good. Obviously, only use Axe once you've upbeat. Once they have upbeat, otherwise they will pocket it. So, and again, run or forward air or neutral air to set it up isn't the worst thing in the world to sort of do, because although you won't kill them, you'll just push them further away. And the holy water also works with the balloons as well, because you can cause a little bit of hit lag and cause the bottle to either explode a little bit later, or when their vulnerabilities run out. So yeah, just sort of a ledge trapping game really. Neutral's a little bit awkward, but apart from that, as long as you stay grounded and just don't keep trying to jump into them and work your way forward, you should be all right. So yeah, an annoying matchup, one that you don't play very often. I know that the UK doesn't have any. Europe in general doesn't really have any villagers that are good. Um, so yeah, I mean, so yeah. Next on our list, we have the Megaman. I think Megaman's slightly winning again. Um, Again, dangerous character. Don't get me wrong, but we sort of dominate the mid range really, really hard against this character, and that's where they want to settle their stuff up. Things like pellets and side B and neutral B and leaf shield. We can go sort of just like forward tilt through. We can kind of like mash on them with disjointed aerials, and it's a struggle for them to do anything and get things started. Obviously, once they do get things started, very solid character, really scary kill confirms, really scary off stage. But yeah, in terms of all of that neutral, I think it's quite solid for us. I don't think it's too bad. Again, in the UK, we don't have too many. I know Noxumbra plays Trim quite a lot, and he said it was an alright matchup. But yeah, I don't think Mega Man causes us any massive difficulties. There's no moves in his kit where I'm just like, oh my goodness, that move kind of beats us. He's of average speed, average sort of like walking, dashing speed. His jab isn't that worrisome, because we can sort of master it. Again, dash attack will eat through all of the pellets of neutral air and jab, and swat him away, and he doesn't have time to stop it. Metal Blade's annoying, but again, you can sort of just play out of shield. Leaf shield, if he decides to sort of commit to leaf shield and he hits your shield and you're on range, you can up B. But if they decide to do that thing where they jump on top of your shield, realize they're shielding, and then they jump back and throw it, if you parry it, you can just get a bit downward angled forward air, back air out of shield, and then again you can start advantage. Again, difficult for them to get off the ledge and out of the corner, because just like disjointed aerials will cause them a bit of pain actually. But yeah, once they get things going, like I said, it's difficult. But neutral, it should be quite good for us. Just spacing forward airs, back airs, F tilts. It can be really difficult for them to maneuver around. Reverse cross can also get you a bit of stage control if you've got the time. And again, dash attack, kind of solid in this matchup. Just as long as you're not overusing it and you know the timings of using it, really, really solid in this matchup. And then again, just getting off the ledge is difficult for them. The up B pass ledge doesn't help them too much. A lot of Megamans like to sort of just jump and then they up B past the ledge, and then they try to go high, but you can always just whip that away and make them try again. So if they try and just go over the top of you, you're just like, no, not having it. Go back to ledge and try again. Um, so yeah, it can be really difficult for them if they haven't got things started because they just lose neutral and they just get ledge trapped. They're heavy and they're annoying to kill because they're kind of heavy. But yeah, kill power wise, they've got decent kill power. And again, their edge guarding isn't too bad with things like run off, throwing metal blade to cover an angle, and then they can just sort of like forward air, back air, or even just pellet really, um, to cover something else. So yeah, not too bad. If they do that thing where they leaf shield, a lot of a lot of Mega Mans also will leaf shield, and then they'll cancel the item toss. They'll cancel the leaf shield with a metal blade toss, and then run in and grab you. So be careful with that. A lot of Mega Mans like to do that. But just as long as you're aware and you're just constantly spacing around them with your max range whips, not too bad. I mean, he's not, like I said, he's not the fastest character in the world, so he's not exactly like rushing you down. But yeah, I think we've got all the tools to beat Mega Man. Um, he's obviously a good character, but I think we've definitely got the tools to beat him. Um, he's just a good character, which is why he's in slight winning and not like winning. But yeah, not too bad. Just a finicky match. If you've never played the matchup before and you don't know what you're doing, it can be quite annoying. But if you know what you're doing matchup wise, it can be really good for you. Um, so yeah, that's how I feel about Mega Man. And next we have Wii Fit Trainer. Again, decent matchup for us. Um, yeah, the lack of disjoints really hurts them because when they're attacking you, they have to sort of get in and do stuff. Soccer ball isn't just isn't working for them. Obviously you can just swat it away, and Sun Salutation just takes ages to sort of charge up. They are scary when they get deep breathing, though. I mean, that's probably the only time they're like super scary, when they got like deep breathing, because obviously they can just mess you up, tons of damage. Um, Forward tilt sends you so far. Nair one up smash kills ridiculously early. Um, but yeah, apart from that, not too bad of a matchup really. If they like to ledge plank like John Numbers does, that's not massively a great strategy for them, because if they're just mashing header, you just throw cross or holy water and just relax them right back, and they can only re-grab the ledge so many times. Because if they re-grab the ledge and you're ready for it, you can just forward smash it and they're dead at 60. Um, so yeah, they've got to sort of approach in this matchup. They've got to come to you, and it's difficult for them to do that because their air to airs aren't great, because neutral air is just sort of singular hit. They're like three hitboxes in like a V shape. Forward air just doesn't do anything for them, and like back air is probably like a bit good tool for them, but they obviously they've got to have their back to you, to make it, and then it's just really obvious what they're going to do. Again, if they start throwing soccer balls, you can just respond with either just walk up shield or just cross, and it'll just hit them back, and you just get stage control from there. Um, if they jump at you, if they try to land on you with neutral air, just be preemptive with it. You can you can meet their air to air with neutral air or forward air, because again, they haven't got really good moves to contest you in the air, apart from, like I said, back air. So if you both jump at each other, you can just mash neutral air and forward air, and you'll win that exchange. And then obviously playing on the ground is difficult for them as well, because dash attack is a good burst option, but it's not safe on shield, so you could just up B and start a thing. Soccer ball doesn't get them too much. If you're if you pressure them a little bit, Sun Salutation takes ages to charge up. And then again, anything less than half charge on Sun Salutation, you can just forward tilt. So yeah, if they just want to play campy and just sort of run away and mash, don't worry about it. Like, just ledge trap, just corner pressure, stand at roll distance. And if they roll, you can just react to that with either grab and throw them off stage, or depending on your percents, you can get the strong hit of down tilt, down air, sorry, the spiking hit of down air into up B or forward air, and again that's just more damage for them. If they are taking a long time and you notice that they like to deep breathe or soccer at certain times, in certain places, you can just run out and forward air them, and that should kill them if they're above 80, 90, depending on blast zones and where they are positioned. But yeah, don't be afraid if they're sort of taking their time off stage, deep breathing, soccer ball, and you've thought, do you know what? I've had enough of this. Yeah, just go off and run off forward air. Just pressure them. But obviously, just be careful you don't give up your ledge trap in the meantime. The only option you're really looking to cover all the time is ledge roll, because Wii Fit trainers love to ledge roll because it's one of the furthest, if not the furthest in the game, and it sends them so far. So yeah, if they're on the ledge, let them have the ledge. Just pressure it with forward tilts and cross and holy water, etc., etc. And apart from that, if you just keep them out, it's just a walling game. They're only scary if they land on you with neutral air, because it is safe. But if they land on you with neutral air, then you can just challenge them with any of your anti-air moves: up tilt, neutral air, up B, forward air, and then you just whack them away and rinse and repeat. Like I said, the big damage comes from neutral air. And then the big kill moves are obviously things like neutral air 1 up smash. That will kill with deep breathing at about 60-70 on Simon and Richter. Even though we're heavy, that move is bonkers with deep breathing. F tilt will probably send you too far at the ledge at about 80-90 to recover. If not, they can just run off and sort of try and edge guard you. But yeah, you've just got. I would look at the Wii Fit you're playing and think, look, how do they get off the ledge? How do they like to play around the ledge? And then think about the counterplay to that, because the matchup is kind of simple, but it all depends on how you deal with the ledge trapping, their ledge play. Because once they're off the ledge and they're in neutral, they've not got a lot to do. They're fast, but that's about it. Their hitboxes are so bad, and their air to airs are so bad that they've got to eventually get in to kill you, unless you're just getting randomly hit by sun salutations, which you shouldn't really be doing. So yeah, just pressure them. Just play sort of passive aggressive, walk up, corner them, figure out what they like to do at ledge, and go from there, really. Again, nothing really much to say about this matchup. It's kind of intuitive what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to win this. But yeah. But again, scary character if they get deep breathing. So yeah, don't just slack on them. Next one, Rosalina and Luma. Yeah, another good win character for us. She's sort of everything she hates in a matchup, really. I don't think it's +2. I don't think it's big winning, because she's scary once she hits you. Because once she hits you up, you might struggle to get down, and obviously her edge guarding is not too bad because forward air lingers for a long time. So it's difficult once you get hit, but realistically, you should not be getting hit. Starbits is annoying in neutral, but depending on the spacing and how detethered Luma is, you can just punish it with an aerial out shield. Obviously, if they space it, you can just use your forward air and back air out of shield, and you can just hit them for it. Getting rid of Luma isn't too bad, because again, it's just sort of you get at that tip of Luma range, and then you just hit Luma. You can back air Luma, you can forward air Luma. But yeah, it's not a matchup she wants to. She kind of wants to get in and do stuff with you, but you've just keeping her out because her shield doesn't always cover Luma. So you're just sort of spacing forward airs, spacing F tilts, retreating back airs, and eventually you'll just start hitting Luma so much that Luma will just disappear, and now it's Rosa on her own, and then it's difficult for her to get in. She can't jump, that's not a great idea because a lot of Rosalinas like to start with like fully neutral air for their combo. So they'll go like nair one, up air, or something like that. But it's difficult for them to do that because jumping is a big commitment for them. Because if they jump, then you can just call out their jump with react with a back air or forward air, and you can just start advantage. And once they're up, they struggle to get down because they're so floaty, and you're just really good at trapping their landings. Um, don't use holy water in neutral because they will gravitational pull it, and that's annoying. You can cross in neutral, just as long as they can't punish it. Because if you cross in neutral and they use down B, you just get stage control. Because obviously, especially things with long cross, if they're sort of at like just beyond tip of distance, and you're like at the corner or something, you can use cross, and then they'll down B it, and then you've got a few frames of um your fast your first actionable frame is quicker than theirs. Not enough to get like a punish, but enough to like move forward just a little bit so that you've got a little bit of stage control to work with. Um, so yeah, just like keep forward tilting them, whistle down the shield, get rid of Luma. Once she's on ledge, it's difficult for her to get off because again she's just so tall, so big, and so floaty that if she does decide to jump off of ledge, the question is how is she getting down? Because it's like, well, you could go to a platform, but then you've got the same problem as before. You're just like stuck on a platform, and you're just eating these max spaced forward airs and back airs and F tilts, and she can't get down. Um, Luma can have shenanigans on if depending on what happens at the ledge. There's sometimes that Luma can be like on stage a little bit, and Rosa's on the ledge, and that causes some funky interactions with like Axe and Holy Water. But it's not the most consistent thing in the world. Um, but yeah, again, like I said, just play neutral very slowly, very safely. They're going to be doing a lot of dash up shield, but just keep your nerve. F tilt them, reposition with a like potentially landing back air, empty hops to sort of like bait them into doing things. You don't need to be aggressive in this matchup because it is on the Ionis is on Rosalina to approach and get things started. Um, and Starbits doesn't help. Luma Shot doesn't help massively. Because you can just beat all of those options. If she's using Luma Shot and she's charging it up, just throw cross, um, and then just sort of get a little bit of stage control from there. But yeah, tricky if you get hit because it's annoying to get down because I'll get up air juggles you. She can go. Her edge guarding's pretty good. Back air sends really far. But apart from that, just sort of like just be a little bit more patient in neutral. Um, keep walling her out. Because getting hit is a bit of a difficult thing for you, and just yeah, more of a whip matchup than anything else. Don't get too complacent. Otherwise, they will like turn the tides on you really, really quickly. But yeah, fast fall air dodge again, not the worst idea to get down because she's so floaty. If she commits to the up air, but just be aware that obviously everything can be punished if they read it. So yeah, decent win for us. Um, can go wrong in the like every matchup can go wrong. But yeah, otherwise, yeah. Um, don't think there's anything else massively I want to say about that matchup. Yeah. Little Mac. Um, yeah. I put him in winning just because it's kind of harder to fight a Little Mac than it is any of these characters. Just because he's fast. That's the only difference between him and like Ganondorf is that he's fast. Um, and he's actually not too slow in the air as well, which means um, if you commit to something and he sort of reads it, he can sort of try and jump over quickly and then get into that range. His speed is the only thing that is going for him in this matchup. Speed and his KO power. Because obviously, once you get him off stage, he's just dead. Like, his up B is so bad. Run off nair is a killer. Run off forward air is a killer. And if he's ever forced to up B, he just doesn't snap the ledge, so you can just go crazy with him. But yeah, his cheese is the worst part of the matchup. Like neutral's actually kind of difficult because again he's quick. So if he starts rushing you down and you're just not aware of what to do, he can overwhelm you really, really quickly. Because even though forward tilt is an amazing option to control the ground, if he like dash shields it, it's a scary position because you've got to guess right on what he does next, because he can still just drop shield and wait for you to do something, and if you do something preemptively, he can punish. Like, so yeah, it's difficult, the matchup in neutral. It's one of those ones, once you figure it out, it's not too bad, because obviously your advantage state just goes crazy, but neutral generally is really, really difficult. You've got to play it slow, you've got to figure out how the mac's going to get in, because if you cross at an inopportune time, he's quick enough that he can sort of jump over and actually start threatening you. And it doesn't even matter that cross comes back, because if he hits you first, that's a problem. Things like, and you would be like, oh, all your moves are safe on shield, but like space down tilt is pretty safe. Same thing with like spaced forward tilt, very safe. But then obviously all of his moves up close are just punishable by up B. And then again, you've just got KO punch, which is a bit of a, it can just sort of turn any matchup on its head, really. Yeah, things like down angled forward tilt, down angled forward smash, sorry, will just set up into a tech chase if they've got a bit of rage. Oh, they will have rage because they've got KO punch. And then if you just guess wrong, you can just die. It's just like, oh. So yeah, definitely choose stages with platforms to give you to give you a hand. Just play ultra lame. Once you get that hit, he can just crumble, because you know he's not going to want to use his double jump massively, because again he's it's just difficult for him to get down once he's committed to being in the air. And if he does do his double jump and he gets hit, he might just die because he just can't recover. Um, but yeah, once you send him too far off stage, if you bait a counter, you can just forward air, or just consider forward airing just to kill him. Because it's such an easy matchup. You don't want him to get back to ledge, and then for him to get lost off ledge, and then try in neutral again. Because yeah, you kind of just want to hit him like 3 times and win. But yeah, obviously it's just not that easy. So yeah, just generally in neutral, just a lot of ground pressure. Um, just be aware of what range he's at, because his burst range is quite big, and if you do something preemptively, he can run in and just start causing you problems. So you've got to be very patient with him. Just keep walling him out, camp him out, take him to big stages. But yeah, just be aware of what he can do, really. Um, but yeah, it's a losable matchup. That's the thing. Like with Little Max, everyone in Little Max is losable if you play, if the Little Mac is on point and you play sloppy. Um, but yeah, the only thing that's stopping him from being in +2 is just how his speed is, because it can be quite overwhelming. And once he starts to hit you, and once you start to panic, he can just sort of overwhelm you very, very quickly. Um, but yeah, again, once you hit him, he should just crumble like a house of cards. All your combos work well on him. I'm not too sure if he can neutral B through neutral air. That I don't know. Because max armor's pretty good, so if he's getting hit by a multi-hit, he can just sometimes neutral B through. I know he can do it with like Bayonetta's up B, and other characters. He can just sort of decide to press neutral B and get through it. So yeah, but again, he can't snap ledge, so holy water can be a bit of a difficulty. If you space it, you can just keep using holy water, and he just can't make it back because his glove touches the up B, and that sends him into hit stun, and then he's got to up B, and you just keep going, and you just keep going. But yeah, consider edge guarding. Just obviously wait for the counter. But if you send him off stage and he has to immediately like side B or immediately jump, you should be out there trying to just touch him into the blast zone. And if he goes super low again, run off Nair, Axe. If you're not feeling confident, Axe can do it. But yeah, should just die. But is very scary. Not really much more I want to say about Mac. Um, but yeah, just don't get gimmicked. Gimmick. Next one we have Greninja. I hate Greninja. It's kind of like Sheik, but a little bit less Sheik, if you know what I mean. Like Shuriken's a little bit worse than Needles, and like his combos are a little bit less like cutscene than Sheik's, but they're still just really good. And what he makes up for it, what Sheik lacks in like raw kill power, Greninja kind of makes up for it. But again, it's a matchup where you don't need raw kill power if you're like Sheik or Greninja. You just need to like edge guard and just send them far enough all stage to where like Needles or Shuriken just stops momentum and you die. Um, but yeah, again, I hate Greninja. We got a lot of them over here in the United Kingdom, and I've played quite a lot of them. I don't like the matchup. I really hate it, but I don't think it's counter pick worthy. That is the only thing. It's kind of doable, but it's like it's an annoying matchup because yeah, you just get comboed for so long. He whiff punishes, and his whiff punishing is really really good. Like dash attack, if you whiff something and he dash attacks you, you're eating like 60 damage because he just juggles you forever, and then you puts you at ledge. Obviously, like neutral air and forward air are safe on shield, um, but they're easily parried if you know what you're doing. His grab is a lot worse as well than Sheik's is another thing. He like us, he has a frame 10 grab, so it's not the worst thing in the world because you can kind of just because a lot of Greninjas won't like to grab because it's so bad and the reward isn't amazing. But actually, in this matchup, it's not too bad because you can forward throws decent. It sends quite far. Up throw sets up for juggles, and down throw does that weird thing where it looks like it should combo but doesn't. And thank goodness it doesn't. Um, yeah, I mean neutral is difficult because if they like to shuriken camp and run away, that can be difficult. And he's got high jumps like ZSS and Falco, so it can be like really hard pinning him down. Um, if they just want to run like play the mid range just outside that tip forward tilt range and just sort of like spam shurikens or run in and shield and see what you're doing, it can be really difficult because if they catch an F tilt and they jump over the F tilt as you're doing it, it's kind of like a free forward air. Or if not, they can just land with shield and you're just like, ooh, what now? Um, but yeah, they shouldn't be just like running at you and landing aerials on your shield because if they start landing aerials on your shield and just sort of like full hopping around, be aware that you can challenge them or just land away from them, because they tend to fall with aerials that don't tend to rise with them. So if you see them jumping and you got a lot of time and you think that they're going to land with a forward air or neutral air, you can just challenge them immediately with a forward air or a neutral air and catch them out, or even a dash attack. Dash attack doesn't do too badly if they're going to fall with it and you know they're going to fall with it. The problem then comes with if you start challenging them and they either A, don't jump, or B, they don't use the move and they sort of drift back. That's the annoying part because now you're in the air and they can catch landings and they're really good at catching landings. Um, so yeah, the only other thing is for projectiles is down B. So substitute, it's annoying. If you're within a certain range, you'll get frozen, and then they can just hit you wherever you want, and they can send you in any direction that they want with the substitute. So be careful about just using projectiles willy nilly, especially obviously holy water or um, cross. If they use holy water and they jump on and try and substitute, you should have enough time to shield. And obviously their counter won't hit you because you're in shield. But yeah, cross if you cross too much, again just be aware that the substitute is an option that they can go for. But again, unless you're using cross at a distance where you shouldn't be, you should be okay. Yeah, the other thing is if you cross it and they can jump over it and they react to it, you are eating a lot of damage because they should be able to just jump over forward air or jump over neutral air on reaction to cross and just start a lot of damage. So yeah, it's an annoying matchup because neutral's really finicky. They're going to be running around trying to just throw shurikens at you, just try and whiff punish, bait you to do things, and if you take the bait and you don't hit them, their whiff punishing, their combos are so good, and you can just spend an eternity just trying to just get back to neutral. I mean, up air juggling is annoying. Back air is good for just sort of like sending you off stage. We are quite heavy though, which makes kill confirming for them really difficult. Um, down tilt up smash should start killing at about 90, depending on what stage we're on and how much rage they have. I'd say if they don't have about rage, you're looking at about 100 for down tilt up smash. But yeah, apart from that, it's a matchup where you want to play proactively and not reactively. Kind of like the Yoshi matchup. If you're just sitting there waiting for them to do things to you and you're relying on like parrying and you're relying on just them messing up, you could have a really bad time because things like neutral air are safe on shield, forward air can be spaced to make it safe, and they can obviously just mix you up after they've used grab, after they've used a neutral air on shield. They can like shield your up B, or they can spot dodge your grab, or they can just jab your grab to interrupt. So they've got a higher potential of outplaying than you have, and they get a lot more off it. If you up B, that's like 18 damage, and that's great. Whereas if they like if they shield your up B, you can take anywhere. It depends on where you land, but obviously you can take a lot of damage from that because you can just get stuck in the Greninja blender. Um, Same things with things like dash attack, raw back air, and then they might chase you for another raw back air. Should be able to just DI away and avoid the second one. And they need to double jump to get back to stage. I had it to me done in a set where I was sort of at the ledge of small battlefield on the left hand side. They clipped me with a dash attack after I whiffed a move. They hit me with a raw back air. I was at 30 before all of this happened. Clipped me with a raw back air. I DI'd away. They went for the second raw back air, but I just jumped up and over, and managed to recover. I think they just went all in. They were trying to kill me. They just went all in and then just missed, and I don't think they made it back because they were like definitely they just wanted me dead. Thankfully I had the game sense to just DI away and then jump over the second one. But yeah, very annoying character. But yeah, as long as you avoid the kill confirms and the back airs off stage, it's not too bad, like surviving wise. Um, an easier matchup than say like Falco or Wario, where they will like kill you because his kill confirms are like very specific. Like he needs to land a down tilt or he needs to land like dash attack forward air. And if your DI is good, you can survive for quite a while. And then it becomes the pain of I'm Greninja and my opponent's at like 130. How do I kill? Right? Because I can land forward air, but that's not the easiest move to kill. Neutral air won't kill. Forward tilt won't kill. Down tilt doesn't combo. Up tilt doesn't combo. Um, so yeah, one if you can make it past, I say if you can make it past mid% and like low high percent, if you can make it like 130%, you're sitting pretty good, and that should be your aim. Just exploit your weight and make it sure that you're not getting edge guarded. You don't fall for these easy kill confirms. But yeah, once you make it past that percent, you should be okay. and you can use your rage to hit them. And once you actually like hit them, they are just like combo food. They will just get hit for quite a lot of damage. Um, they have a really bad 2-frame as well. So if you're very skilled with what you can do, Axe is a really good 2-frame punish. If you can set it up and have the time. Holy Water as well. If you can just sneak it off ledge, you should. That's a free down air. If you're good at doing that. But yeah, again, just look for the jumps out of the corner because they do like to jump. But equally, even like dash attack out of the corner is difficult for them. It's difficult for you to deal with because it's just so quick and they're just so small and they're just so ninja like. So yeah, not an easy matchup. An annoying matchup. One that's Greninja favoured in my opinion. But yeah, can't think of anything more to say. Apart from that, try and call out their jumps as much as you can. Play reactive. Just combo. And just try and kill them where you can, really. So yeah. The Mii's next. Mii Brawler. Yeah. It's kind of like Mario, but kind of like different. Because where Mario relies on sort of like hitting you and laddering you and killing you, this character is all about just like, give me those thrupper kills, right? Just give me the thrupper cheese. That's all they want. It's like thrupper cheese. And the thing is, like, Simon's such a big body that it's an annoying move for you to sort of try and work around, just because all of their moves are really safe. So yeah, yeah. Again, they're sort of just like Mario. They like to just spam out neutral airs, safe back airs on shield, mix in a few grabs here and there, and then just fish for their thrupper kills. Again, sort of like Mario, if you can avoid the thrupper cheese, it's differently from Mario. If you can avoid the thrupper cheese, it's not too bad. But yeah, the best thing to do for thrupper is to SDI down and in, I think it is. There's a whole video on it. But yeah, any game is not. Any game is even if they're like 100%, because and you're on like 0, because all they need is that one thrupper throw, and then you're sort of dead. If they're not running thrupper, the matchup obviously is a lot easier. If they're running the one that goes super high, it's like the soaring axe kick, that's not too bad, and I don't think they will be running that because out of shield isn't really their concern. You know, they're not really looking for out of shield confirms. I guess they could run heli kick if it's on like town and city maybe for early kills, but I'll be honest, Thrapper's the only one I see. Like, it's normally Thrapper, shot put, or flashing mark punch, flip jump, and then the side B is either burning drop kick or suplex. So those are the moves that I have the most experience with. So yeah, if you're saying that you're having trouble with the Falcon kick one, no, I can't help you with that one. Just don't shield that move. Just get out of the way. But yes, generally they're going to want to play the same sort of game as Mario, where they're sort of running around, spacing aerials on your shield, dash in, dash out, looking to bait you into doing something, and then getting those very big punishes. So yeah, just again, all their moves should be safe on shield. Landing neutral air should be safe unless you parry, or unless they touch the top of your shield. Same thing with like spaced back air or landing up air, because they've got so many confirms out of all of these landing aerials. It's really good because you can get like landing up air forward smash, which will kill. It will kill us at like 70. and then obviously even less with Rage. Stage wise, I mean, it doesn't even matter where you take these guys because they're just looking for you. They're just looking to get you onto a platform. Um, on FD, our Thrupper kill percent is about 88 to 112. So that's a 24% window where they can just down throw Thrupper. Which is, and then obviously if you take into account something like even like Hollow Bastion or Small Battlefield, they've got Rage on the platform. You can be dying as early as like 50%. So the key is just don't get thruppered on a platform. If you can avoid getting grabbed on the bottom layer, if you can avoid getting grabbed from an 88 to 112, you should be all right. Um, because that's their main way of getting kills. If they start doing things like down throw, forward air, I think it's down throw, forward air, something else. SDI down and away. The harder you SDI down and away, the easier you get out of the combo. So yeah, if they start down throwing you at like 0, immediately SDI down and away. And then just DI, just do not go anywhere near platforms. Either camp on the left of the stage next to the blast zone, or just like camp right in the middle, depending on what stage you're on, to where they're going to have a hard time getting you towards a platform. Because, like I said, once they're on like PS2, they've got to get you to 90% before the down throw thrupper starts killing. Like I said, 88 to 112 is the FD one, so I'm guessing it's probably something like similar. But yeah, again, just gonna do a lot of like landing aerials, so you can try and challenge them if they start jumping, if they start running on the ground. Um, you can obviously shut down the ground with cross and F tilt, but they just can overwhelm you really quickly if they play patiently, and they take their time of getting in. Um, Again, 88 to 112, your kill percent. But yeah, on the platforms, oh, you can be dying as early as 50 if they've got a bit of rage. So yeah, just know your percents and just play around them. Um, Again, just avoid all of their landing things, landing up air, down air, kills and spikes off the side, landing up air, forward smash that kills you at 60. Um, Again, once you get out of the thrapper pill percent, if you can avoid getting thrappered, they can have a quote hard time killing, because obviously back air exists and forward throw is actually quite decent at sending us away. So you've just got to know which set your opponent's running. If it's flashing mark punch, that's annoying because that can kill us early. Shot put's not the greatest for them because it doesn't really do much for them. It might gimp him off stage, but again, you can just like run off and use Lingerling neutral air. Flip jump's annoying because it helps their disadvantage. Even though it's not as good as ZS's actual flip jump. But yeah, it's annoying for us because um, it's another move that they can use to go high. And then, yeah, the suplex, again, suplex is suplex, really. Just just be aware of where you're shielding, and be aware of where they're mixing it up. Treat it like Incineroar's side B if they're running it. But if they're running bunning drop kick, again, just try not to like sit and shield and be reactive. Just play proactive, mix up how you're doing it, parry, challenge the moves. But yeah, difficult matchup. Not one I play very often. So yeah. Mii Swordfighter. Mii Swordfighter, I think, is winning. Um, Depends on again what set your opponent's running, because generally they'll either be running Tornado or Chakram. No, Tornado or like the shooty star ones. Um, and then they'll be running like either Hero Spin, or they could run any of them actually. Hero Spin's the easiest one because although it kind of kills you early, their recovery's so much worse for it. The the yellow one's annoying because it just gets them back for kind of free. And then the other up B one, I just have no experience with, so I can't comment on it. And then in terms of down Bs, normally it's between the reversal, the reversal thing, the reflector, or power thrust, which can be annoying. But I don't know. I don't think reversal's that great in there. And then the side B, oh my goodness, chakram. The chakram's annoying. Um, I don't rate the spinny blade one, and I don't rate blurring blade. I think the chakram's annoying, the little circle thing. But yeah, it should be just kind of an easy win because they're like kind of like a counter zoner. Um, but they don't have the tools to sort of like counter zone you because your whip just beats them. Right, this isn't a matchup. Even if they pick even if they pick the magic reflector thing, you just go ahead and start whipping them because like they've got to come to you because they're not winning the projectile war. Because if they start like shurikening things, you just shield and you just walk forward, or you can just jump on a platform and be like, right, now you can't do that. Um, Again, reverse cross is a good idea in those situations. If it's Gale Strike, you just walk forward and shield. And if you're in range, you can just parry it and just sort of like down angled forward air out of shield, and boohoo, they've lost neutral. But yeah, it's just a matchup where you can just sort of walk forward and shield. Depends on how they're playing it. If they want you to come to them, just walk forward slowly. Use a bit of reverse cross to get those stage controls and just pressure them into the corner, and then just exploit how they have to get out of the corner. Obviously, you've just got to be aware of which special they take. If they're using power thrust, the one that goes like along the floor, just be aware that it's an option, and then just shield and up be it, and then go from there. Really, if they're using blurring, not the other one, not head on assault, the spinny one, like the circle. So they like charge it, and then the they charge it. Oh my goodness, this is painful. I don't know what these moves are called. You know the one I'm on about. It's like a sword thing where they just spin in a circle. You can just deal with that. Just forward air away. You can see it coming. Um, so yeah, just the game plan's the same no matter which moves they run. You get them into the corner. You use your disjointed move to keep them there at tip of whip range, and then you just exploit them how they like to get out. It doesn't matter which moves they are running in that case, you just have to play neutral differently. But neutral is just the same. You just watch out for them dash grabbing, because they like dash grab, because it's quick for them, and it can be painful when they start up being you, because it's disjointed, it's a great juggling tool, and you die. On ledge, it depends again what they're running. If they're running Gale Strike, if they're running Tornado, you've just got to be aware of how much legend vulnerability you've got, and where they are. If you're not too sure about anything and you don't want to play the Tornado 50-50 game, as you're recovering, just throw cross either at them so it hits them, or throw it away from the stage to help you then recover, so you can just tether low. And then when the cross starts to come back, you can just get up. They have to shield, and then you pick a ledge option and go from there. If you do somehow get grabbed, just like DI down on the way immediately, like pre-DI. Just as soon as you see them running, just hold away, or you can just spot dodge, or just pick any move and hit them. So just don't panic and shield, because then they will like down throw up air you and you'll die. But yeah, apart from that, Chakram can be annoying if you're off stage because it can snipe you. Um, but yeah, again, not too fussed about any of the down Bs or the up Bs. They're just pretty much the same. Um, Obviously, just be aware that if they're running hero spin, again, they're just going to fish for grab at like 60 at the edge, and then down throw double jump up B, and you might just die, depending on what set you're running. But that comes to bite them if they're sort of that becomes an exploitable feature for you, because you can just sort of run off and up there if they have to double jump, or run off forward air and they just can't make it back, sort of like Link or Young Link. Um, so yeah, just make sure that you're just ruling them out, proper disjoints. They haven't got the mobility to keep up with us. They don't have the projectile spam and to just sort of keep challenging us. So yeah, not a bad matchup. Kind of winning. I don't know why you would ever need to play this character. There's so few of them. But yeah, kind of an easy one. But again, just can go wrong if it can go wrong, really. Next character. Oh, Palu. I feel like I can get it lynched if anybody sees this. I've no idea why we've convinced ourselves that this matchup is even. I just can't understand it. Right? I don't get it. I understand that we've got a few tools to help us, but I just think she's just too good of a character just for us to be even with them. I think Noxumbra just said that in 2021 and people just went along with it, and then that's it. Every time I state this opinion, I feel like everybody just looks at me as if I've got like three heads, or that I just don't know what I'm talking about. And I don't think either of those is the case. I genuinely just think it's losing. I don't think it's bad. Like, I would rather fight a Palutena than a Mario or a Falco, don't get me wrong. But, like, yeah, I just think she's got too much stuff for it to be even at all. So yeah, like, at the end of the day, you still kind of have to go towards her. Her speed is what makes her difficult because she's just really quick in the air. She's quick on the ground as well. And she's if you're just mashing projectiles, she's got two of her own which beat yours. You know, if you're smashing cross, explosive flame, you know, or auto reticule if you're not approaching, and then you've got to do something. And then obviously the big thing is you don't want to just jump. You just want to stay grounded, which is not much of a problem actually, because if Palus start fishing for like landing near one, you just upbeat them and you just tell them to stop because it's silly. And then once you've done that, they're just sort of like trying to jump in, space forward airs, space back airs, not punishable. So you've just got to really hard. Her ground game is not very good, and she's obviously going to be wanting to jump a lot. But she can exploit that. You can just sort of forward air her if she decides to just sort of run up and neutral air. You've got the disjoints to help you. But yeah, my problem with this matchup is when she wins neutral, she gets a lot more of it than you do, in my experience. And it's just generally just been the experience of whenever I've seen Simon Victor players versus Palutena, like you'll win neutral and then you probably won't kill her, and she'll be at 120, and then she'll hit you, and then she'll just run off and like either gimp you with neutral B or just like run off neutral air and you'll die. That's the only deal breaker for me. Like the ease which she can just sort of juggle you, or the ease which she can just use her corner pressure to trap us, or her edge guarding. She's got too many tools in this matchup and in general for us to just say, yeah, it's even. Because if she decides to juggle you, there's not much you can do. If she decides to corner pressure you, again, there's not a lot you can do. If she decides to edge guard you, again, there's little you can do. So I think she's got so many good win conditions that it just becomes a picture of what does she want to do? Because if she starts juggling you and you start air dodging, that's trouble. If you start double jumping, that's trouble. If you start having any bad habits off the stage or in the corner, she can exploit them. It's difficult because I don't think we've got any players that are as good as the top Palu players, right? If we had that one player who was constantly beating other Palus or like going super even them, I feel like my mind could be changed. But every time I see a Palu player in bracket, they just seem to like beat us every single time. Um, so yeah, it's hard for her to get in. I can start with that. Her speed helps a little bit, and her projectiles help a little bit, but she can struggle to get in. And if your opponent can get tilted, that's an avenue you can sort of pursue. But I hate warp. Warping teleports in this game, it just annoy me because so ambiguous where they want to go. They're difficult to two-frame because they can go above the ledge and just recover straight down. They can teleport straight behind you. They can teleport up to a platform. And if they just start wanting to mix you, um, you can struggle to sort of ledge trap them. Reflector isn't a massive deal in the matchup, but it's something to just keep aware of because it's something she just takes. And then when she just hits you, she just hits you, right? She just combos you for days, juggles if she wants to, puts you off stage and edge guards you. We've got decent ways of getting off the ledge. But yeah, sometimes all she needs to do is just like run off a neutral air or just run off and tap you with forward air and you can die. And we haven't got the consistent way of killing her, other than just hit her with back air at 100, or just get a ledge trap, or just get a setup. If we had like a consistent way of killing Palu, I'd put it in even, and I'd be like, yeah, I can see. But too many times, like if you get Palu to like 130 and you just can't kill her, she snowballs really hard. And especially if they get the download on you, it can be really difficult for you to sort of do anything. Um, I've played so many Palus, and it just depends on how I just feel how good they are. I feel like if the Palu's better than you, they'll just kind of win. And even if the Palu's about the same in skill level versus you, I still think you've got to play a little bit better than they do. They can kind of get away with it. They can kind of get away with being a little bit lazy because they can be like, oh, I've taken a beating, but I'll just have to grab him once, or just have to mix him up, or just have to read an edge guard, a corner situation. Sorry, and then I can set up for an edge guard, which Palu can do. So yeah, I don't feel like it's an even matchup. I feel like we slightly lose, but you can win a slightly losing matchup. Like I said, I'd rather play a Palu than a Mario, or a Palu than a Falco, or a Wario. Like, I'd rather play this than this. Like, by no means am I saying that this is like terrible matchups, but all I'm saying is that it's more likely for the Palu to just sort of like condition and snowball you rather than you just get that one random hit over a set that will just make you consistently win. Her tools are just too good. She can just do what she wants, and she can exploit our juggling, and she can exploit our corner pressure, and she can exploit our off stage more than we can exploit her in neutral, and the more that we can exploit her in the corner. Because once we get her to the corner, warp shenanigans aside, yeah, it can be difficult for her to get off the ledge because she's tall and light. Not to the extent that like Rosalina's tall and light, but she's kind of like Falcon, where you just have to like hope that she dies because she can just be really stubborn and just decide not to die. If you can kill her sub 110 every stock, yeah, you'll win. But like if you struggle to kill, and she gets that one hit, she can snowball really hard, and exploit us. So yeah, neutral wise, it depends what she wants to do because every Palu is different. And I think this is obviously that's the strength of Palu. They all kind of want the same thing, spacing forward airs. They want landing neutral air. They want grab. They want their yada. But how they do that just depends on what the player really. Some of them are more bait and punish, and that can be difficult. Some of them are like kind of aggressive. Some of them will sit back and wait for you to do something. So you've really got to decide which kind of Palutena you're playing against, and then just sort of customize your play style to fit that and match that. Because if you start playing super aggressive against a Palu who's bait and punish, obviously you're just going to get put in a blender. If you just like run at a Palu who's just ready for you, it can be difficult. But yeah, you can overwhelm Palu. Like if you get her in the corner, or if you start pressuring her shield with forward tilts and forward air, she can struggle because if she starts jumping, you've got the air to air to challenge her. Like she can't just like jump in and neutral air for free like she can against like Jigglypuff or like Ness. She can't just like, oh, I'm just going to jump neutral air and get an easy 60 because we should be on the ground the most of the time. And her neutral air is not safe on shield, so we can just punish that. But if she decides to like jump and instead land with a low forward air that's spaced, that's difficult to deal with, because then you've got to be like, well, I can't up B, and I'm suddenly getting shield pressured. So you've got to choose your next move wisely. But yeah, if you can read the Palu player, easily winnable. But I just think overall, I think she's just too good of a character to beat consistently. Matchup wise, again, if you're inside of forward air range and they auto rescue, again you can just sort of down angle forward there out of shield. And you can hit her for it. Explosive same shouldn't be shouldn't be a factor as much, because you don't want to play in that range. You always want to be in like tip of whip range, because if you're outside of that, that opens you up to those projectiles, and you kind of don't want them doing that. You kind of want to be forcing them to rely more on their buttons. And like I said, with Palutena, she's more than likely going to jump. So if you can start reading jumps and reacting to jumps, you can start pushing her towards the corner, pushing her off stage, frustrating her, and that's where you can start winning. But she's very quick on the ground as well, and that's the problem, because if she can start dash shielding and closing that gap, it becomes a lot more difficult for you to do anything, because you sort of got to start retreating with your aerials and retreating with your tilts, and that's where it becomes a little bit of a problem. But yeah, like I said, I think it's slightly losing. You can win it, but I don't think it's a consistent thing. I just think they got too many tools. But yeah, down B isn't much of an issue. I've never really been scared of that move. It's not something that they tend to use too much. It's just very basic. Ground game's not very good, but her air game is. And if you start to get intimidated by her air game, that's when you can just sort of snowball. So play reactive, play preemptive. Just sort of make sure that she can't just jump around for free. Start wearing her down. And again, if you don't get gimped, you can survive to quite a high percent and use your rage. But yeah, it all depends on what kind of Palutena player your opponent is, really. So yeah. So yeah, our next character is Pac Man. Yeah, I think Pac Man's winning. Thing is, the traditional gameplay of Pac Man doesn't really tend to work against the Simon and Richter too much. Because he kind of wants to sit down in a corner and charge fruit. He'll put hydrant in front of him. But the problem with that is forward air and back air go straight through hydrant and hit him. So it cancels him charging his fruit, and you're immediately in like tip of whip range, and then he's like, oh, now I've got to get out, which can be difficult for him. Same thing with like landing. A lot of Pac-Man when landing will throw hydrant down, and then they'll like 50-50. They'll either like drift into the corner, and you can just hit them for doing that because you can reach. And if they want to drift into you, you punish that as well. And then they get ledge trapped, and then they die. So that's that's a very basic analysis of the matchup. But yes, yeah, if they want to charge fruit in the corner, they're just going to charge fruit. They want like Galaxian. They want Galaxian, or they want like Bell or whatever. You just whip them straight through you throw cross goes through it, so you can throw cross at them, hits the trampoline, hits the hydrant, travels through the hydrant, and makes them shield. So that's annoying for them. And then because the cross comes back as well, it damages the hydrant, and then you can forward tilt or like down tilt, because I think the hydrant has like 13 HP. It's 1 more HP than Pac-Man's short hop back air, which is why when they place it down, then sometimes they short hop back air it, so the next hit will proc it. So you can throw cross, throw backwards, and then if you hit it with any other move, it'll just send it. Be careful though, because the way whip works is it has a detection hitbox for walls, and it actually counts as a wall. So yeah, you got to hit it with like the tipper on. But if you've thrown cross through it, it's something like even like down tilt will proc it, and then they've got to get out the corner, and that's not easy for them. They kind of they call it corner trap themselves, which is kind of nice. And as long as you're not getting hit by like forward airs, you're okay. Forward air, difficult move because it sends you into tech chase quite quickly, and they can sort of loop it and carry you off stage. And there's not a lot you really can do about that. You can DI down and away, but then it sort of sets up into a 50-50 edge guard, where you can just die. So be very careful about getting hit by it. Rising forward air is not safe on shield. Descending forward air is safe on shield if they space it properly and low to the ground. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing to notice about. But yeah, neutral, it will be them trying to use whatever fruit they charge to try and get out of the corner. Just be aware of whatever fruit they've got in their hand. Apple isn't bad. Apples and cherry and melon, they're not too worrisome. Orange is fast, but it doesn't obviously kill you that badly. Just sends you away. Obviously, Galaxian, if you shield the first hit of Galaxian, you can jump and Z catch it. So you can use it against them. Bell is obviously Bell. Make sure you do not get hit by that move on the ground. If you get hit by in the air, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's kind of still bad. And then Key is just Key. If they charge up to Key, don't just start flinging cross willy-nilly, because if you throw cross, it will get beaten. Cross won't beat Key, and you'll get hit by Key. So yeah, they'll obviously go for their normal Pac Man stuff. But yes, if they set up into the corner, they've sort of corner pressured themselves really, and that's really really good for you. And like I said, once they try and land, just be careful and note whether they've got their double jump or not. Because if they haven't got their double jump, you just wait out the trampoline, the hydra. I know I keep saying trampoline. Wait out the hydrant, so you can jump towards them and bait it. That's fine. Then once but obviously don't go underneath them because you don't want to get hit by it. Once they've thrown down the hydrant, they've got no more resources left apart from their air dodge. So you can again try and bait their air dodge. And again, if you've baited their air dodge and they land, you can get whatever you want off them. If they land behind the hydrant, and they haven't got an air dodge, you can forward smash them for free. And it really is for free. So yeah, it's not that too bad. And if they try and land on top of you, you can up tilt them and reset the situation and juggle them that way, or you can like up B them depending on how high they are or what they're doing. But yeah, off stage, ledge trapping wise, it's not too bad. They'll try and again. They use their projectiles to get off the corner, but they've got no real fancy tricks of getting out of getting off the ledge. They can sometimes, if they get hit at a high enough angle, they can try and bypass the ledge by like side being like super high, like snakes do for their recovery. So they can do that, and obviously try and get the hydrant to get them down. But again, you just do the counter to the play that I said about a minute ago. Bait out the hydrant and see how they land. But yeah, the only dangerous part of this matchup is when they start chaining forward airs, because that sends into tech chase at kind of like 30-40%. So you can either DI up or just mix up your tech options. And then once if they get you off stage with a forward air, like a landing forward air, and they send you off stage, that can be very difficult to deal with, because again you can just get edge guarded, because they can go very deep with their recovery, and they don't need all they need to do is tap you to get it back. So don't overextend. Don't get caught out by forward airs. They like to rising forward air out the corner just because it's a great option, but you can just up B that immediately. So yeah. And then the only other scary situation is when you're at about 70-80% and they got Bell. And then once they get hit by Bell, you're dead. But the thing about Bell is if you keep spacing your forward airs and forward tilts, it's difficult for them to get in because they've got no aerial pressure. They're just sort of relying on you running around, getting scared. So F tilt can't be punished by Bell, so you can F tilt and F tilt and F tilt, but you just have to react to what they do. So yeah, their up game is close. Their up close game is about hard, but actually the matchup's doable. I think we slightly win. Again, Pac Man's just sort of a good character with lots of good buttons. And obviously, once you're on the ledge, it's difficult to get off because they've got like a billion ledge trap setups. But again, you can use cross to help you get off the ledge, throw it away, throw it towards the blast zone, and then use that to help you, especially with all the gimmicky things with hydrant. If it takes one more hit to hit and you hit it with cross, that can be huge for you because suddenly you own the hydrant and then you won't get hit by if you jump up into it. But yeah, as long as you stay out of CQC, keep your distance, make it really difficult for them to get in, corner pressure them, and just don't let them get away with like landing for free. You can win that matchup. But yeah, obviously it's easily losable because Pac Man's just a good character. And the thing is, he doesn't weigh too much, so he's not too hard to kill consistently. Because although he's like small in height, he's kind of like big and chunky. So yeah, don't think I've got anything more to say about that. It's kind of a straightforward matchup. It all just depends on how well you know the Pac Man gimmicks. Will be just how you sort of deal with the better Pac Man players. But yeah, your average like 2-2 a Pac Man player, you should just be able to zone out, wall out with whips, and then just catch all their landings and their the mid-level habits. But once you get to the better Pac Man plays, you've just got to be aware of what setups they're going for and how they're going to choose to play disadvantage, and how they're going to get you into all of their traps. Pac Man setup number 671. Were you ready for it? If you're not ready for number 671, got to be ready for 398. So, just got to be ready for it. But yeah, overall, slightly winning. Don't get hit. Hit them. Play good neutral. Kind of like the theme of this character, to be fair. Okay, our next character is... if I didn't main Simon, I would play this character. It's Robin. Robin... I like Robin. I wish I was good at Robin. Awakening, 10 out of 10 game. I loved Awakening. I actually didn't buy it until earlier this year, actually. Like March this year, March 2024. Bought it, completed it, loved it. Just absolutely phenomenal game. To be fair, I've loved all the Fire Emblem games. Haven't played Engage because well, I had the wait and see approach, and apparently I waited and saw it wasn't very good. But yeah, Tellius games great. Awakenings amazing. I even like Fates, but let's not get down to that because I know people don't. But Robin, yeah, matchup's not too bad actually. It's quite good. He's another zoning swordy character, kind of like Link, but he's slower than Link, and he hasn't got the great buttons like Link does. But again, he has the advantage state to keep up. Neutral though is where it sort of falls apart for Robin. It's kind of upsetting actually. So basically, his thunder spells are mostly going to be the crux of his neutral play. Arcfire not so much. It's not a move you want to be using in neutral a lot. And then his Levin swords, he's sort of too slow to use effectively because you outrange him. But thunder spells wise, you can just forward tilt any thunder spell apart from Thoron, and it will just immediately disappear. And that will be that. You can literally just F tilt. It's harder to do it on normal baby thunder than obviously L thunder or Arc thunder. But yeah, you can just whip those two, and they will just forward tilt, and they will disappear on contact. And he will have wasted resources. If they decide to charge up to Thoron, and you notice that, then you start pressuring, because L Thunder and Baby Thunder are better in this matchup. Thoron's not too bad for Robin, because it means that if you throw a projectile, he can just respond with Thoron, and you will get hit. And if he holds the button down longer, he does more damage and more knockback. Um, but yes, if he charges up to Thoron at any point, just be aware that if you do decide to throw a projectile or a laggy move, he will just do he just has a whole screen delete button, and he will just completely be winning in that situation. But as for Baby Thunder, Arc Thunder, and L Thunder, you can decide to dash attack them, and dash attack will be all three, make them disappear. And if you're close enough and Robin's close enough, you'll punch through them and hit Robin himself. You can F tilt them. Obviously, it doesn't matter if Robin's on the other side of the stage, but obviously you'll waste his book. And then the only other thing you can do, which is very funny, is you can down tilt under all three, and you can hit him with down tilt too. So if he charges up to use L Thunder, and casts it, you just down tilt on reaction, and depending on how far away you are, you can use down tilt 2 to catch him with the end of it and poke him away. So yeah, down tilt goes under all three stages of the projectile, which makes it risky for him to throw out at sort of like mid ranges, because you can just react down tilt 1, down tilt 2, and then you've started advantage really. And this is sort of like the crux of the issue with this matchup. It's kind of winning until each of them hits the other one, and then once the other one hits the other one, it's just so hard to get out off the stage, off the ledge. It's just so much harder. But it's bad, because Robin's Levin aerials are threatening. He does a lot of damage. His run off neutral air is very good for edge guarding. Same with his thunder spells. He can just sort of like charge up to Arc Thunder, use Arc Thunder jumping off the stage, and then just react to your option, and then just punish you for it with neutral air, and you're just dead. But yeah, neutral is very key, like everything else. Is very key in this matchup. You have to win neutral, because if you lose neutral, you will lose. You can just lose your stock. Same thing with Robin. If Robin loses neutral, he can just lose his stock. So neutral, very, very important in this matchup. So as Simon, you just want to make sure that you're closing him down, and dealing with all of the thunder spells. If you're dealing with the thunder spells well, it can be difficult. If he arc fires at any point, again, you can just sort of whip that away, dash attack, cross, whatever. That move disappears on contact with a hurt box or a hit box as well. So you can just get that away. And then the only thing else he has is his aerials. So his ground game is really bad, and his ground game is pretty much just the thunder spells. And if he jumps for whatever reason, you can just up angled forward air, and that's difficult for him to deal with. He can't sort of get in. He has good air mobility. I think it's like average, actually, like slap bang average air mobility, which means he wants to jump. But if you start calling his jumps out with, up angled forward airs or like neutral airs, it can be difficult for him to sort of start anything. He mostly, if he does jump at you, you'll probably want to do things like space neutral air or space back airs, and those can be pretty safe. Spaced back air you can't punish, because obviously it's spaced. Even though frame data wise you could up B it, unless he's like really inside of you, I wouldn't up B it. Just wait. But like things like neutral air as well, safe on shield. Unless he spaces it poorly. But again, it's more beneficial for you to not let him get to that stage rather than deal with it. I mean, if you have to deal with it because you're in the corner, that's fair enough. You have to deal with it. But yeah. And then obviously once he's run out of his Levin sword, if he runs out of any resource, that's your time to sort of go and pressure him. Especially if he runs out of thunder. If he runs out of thunder, his ground game is non-existent. Like, he has no ground game. You can just walk towards him and he will panic because he's got nothing. If he's run out of Levin sword, he won't be jumping. He'll be just trying to stall you out until his Levin sword comes back. So yeah, just abuse his bad ground game, and realize the fact that his thunder spells are hard to deal with. unless you know one of the three things I mentioned earlier with dealing with them. And then once you know how to deal with those, it becomes a lot easier. But just be aware that, you know, if you do a bad down tilt, if you're react, you need to react to the thunder spells rather than preact. You can preact to them, but if you get it wrong, then you can start eating a little bit of damage. So yeah, thunder spells are going to be your main ones. If he arc fires, or what is he doing in arc firing in neutral? Not a neutral tool. And then after that, if he starts to jump because he wants to use his 11 aerials, you know, you can air to air him very well because your whip is longer than his 11 sword. But once he hits you, it can be really difficult to get down. His juggling's really good because 11 up air is huge. His moves can be safe on shield if they space him properly. So that can be difficult to deal with. His edge guarding's really good. Run off Nair and run off Arc Thunder is, or even Arc Thunder or Thunder is nothing to sneeze at. When you get on the ledge, just got to be careful about Arc Fire. Rolling is the best way to get through it, but you must make sure that if you roll past Arc Fire, he is already casting another one. So don't roll immediately. That's how you get forward smashed, right? So he does Arc Fire. So I would tether to ledge. So if you can tether to ledge, because it makes it harder to ledge trap you if you tether to ledge, because then he can't just mash Arc Fire willy nilly because you're just hanging there and he's just wasting Arc Fire. So let's say you're on the ledge, he Arc Fires once. Okay, you've got enough. You should have enough invulnerability time to just wait that one out. If you hear him cast another one and he yells Arc Fire, if you immediately roll, you should be all right. Okay, you won't get clipped by it. You'll roll right past the Arc Fire, and depending on his spacing, you'll either land right next to him, behind him, or in front of him, and then you can choose what you want to do from there. But you can only do that if you hear him yell Arc Fire. If you just roll on willy-nilly after the first one and you don't react to the fact that he is casting it, you are going to eat a punish. You can eat a forward smash. Baby Thunder to forward smash is a real confirm of super spaces. So yes, you will eat whatever Robin is feeling that day. So yeah, again, another matchup where you've just got to stay on the ground, make sure that you're not just jumping around. Never ever jump into Robin at a 45-degree angle. Don't ever jump into Robin at a 45-degree angle because you will get 11 forward air, and either nair or up air. I would personally go for up air because it settles up for juggle. So yes, don't ever jump into Robin because you will just eat a forward air, and that is no bueno. So yeah, deal with the thunders as they come. Ledge trap him. He hasn't got that massively a lot of ledge trapping ways to break ledge trapping. He can jump, but again, it's not the greatest thing for him. His ground game is very weak, so he sort of crumbles to F tilt spam. And depending on what he's got charged up, he might just be sort of stranded in the corner. And you might just have to read an option that he does to keep him in the corner. But overall, a winning matchup, unless you get hit by him, and unless you get kind of like Rosalina. If you do well and you just keep them out and you play like you're supposed to, should be an easy winning matchup. But if you start making errors and Robin starts to get things going, you can just die because he will exploit your terrible disadvantage state. So yes, that's Robin. Don't think I've got any other tips and tricks about Robin. Watch out for landing Nosferatu. Sometimes they like to mix up Nosferatu. If you get hit by Nosferatu, if you mash, you spend less time in Nosferatu. And obviously, if he hits you at the back, it's going to be better than the front. So sometimes they will just empty land down B and get you that way. Overall, yeah, he's kind of he's so slow for no reason. I don't understand why. It didn't have to be this way. He's so fast in the games. You would think playing, I don't know, you would think having never played Awakening, he'd be like a slow unit, but no, he's like the best unit in the game. Like, you could just like solo the hardest difficulty with just Robin. He's just that good. But yeah, he's definitely not slow in the game. I think he came out to like my like fourth, fifth fastest units, but like two of them were Pegasus Knights. So they had capped speed in like their 40s. So, but he was doubling everything in Sight Robin. Bless his little cheeks, or bless her little cheeks. I forgot Mii Gunner, didn't I? I forgot Mii Gunner. Let's go with Mii Gunner. Apologies to the 3 Mii Gunner mains playing this character. I got carried away. I just basically what happened is I played Candy, the Mii Gunner in Bristol like 3 days ago, and I'm having like PTSD flashbacks of what happened. So yeah, slightly out of order. I apologise, but Mii Gunner. I will do Mii Gunner. So Mii Gunner. It's kind of it's kind of like Samus, but it's a little bit more. I think it's kind of a little bit harder than Samus in some ways, but a little bit easier than Samus in another way. Just because like Mii Gunner just farts out so many projectiles, and the projectiles are a lot more threatening than Samus's. Depending on what they run. The set I would recommend would be the grenade neutral B, the one that just like is plus 1 billion on shield. Just missile and like the drop bomb. Just go all in on the ledge trapping, and you should be okay. Whatever up B you want, it doesn't really matter. None of them kill, apart from that one that you. But you won't use the up B that kills out of shield because you're Simon and you won't be affected by that. So I'm only going to be discussing the 3 neutral Bs, the side B, the neutral B, and the down B, because the up Bs are whatever, right? They all snap ledge from below, so they're all like 2 frameable. If you've got holy water, and then the only difference is that the one of them goes straight up, so you can kind of like run off and mess with it if you know what you're doing. And then the only other thing is sometimes they can like shoot a grenade onto stage if they've got the one that goes different, the ones you can steer, and then they can steer themselves just behind it to help them get on stage. But apart from that, all the up Bs just do the same thing. Neutral B wise, it's either charge shot or the bomb. There's another one which is like a laser. It's kind of like Fox's laser, but it's slower and like they deal more damage. But that's not helping them really. You kind of want either charge shot or you kind of want the bomb. I find it harder to deal with the bomb than the charge shot because the charge shot doesn't ledge trap as well as the bomb does. The bomb is just so annoying to get off of ledge versus if you neutral get up its shields and they just run up and dash grab you for free. It does so much damage. It's hard. You've got to time your neutral get up, especially if they've got another bomb, the down B bomb, to help you. That's annoying. I don't think the Ness Psy Magnet isn't worth it. I don't think the Reflector's worth it. Practically. It might be a niche option, but if I'm playing this matchup, I probably want to just get the Belmonts to the ledge and just ledge trap them. And this is kind of what that character does. Stealth Missile is kind of cool, like the exploding stealth shot, the one that goes. That's cool. It's like the knockoff Nehru's Love, but I think Missile is just better. I like to run the stealth bomb thing, but I don't even know what the other side be. Oh, the other side B is the PK Fire Arc Fire knockoff. I mean, I've never seen anybody run that one, so could not tell you anything about that. So yeah, matchup wise, it's kind of very even. It's annoying because you just take turns ledge trapping each other, so it all comes down to neutral. If you went neutral, you're fine because then you're just ledge trapping the other guy or girl. But if you get ledge trapped yourself, then you're just like, oh, just get me off ledge, please. Please let me off ledge. So yeah, like, it's not too bad if you can start pressuring them with tipper whips. That's when they start to struggle. because if you like start shielding things and like reacting out of shield, um, it's pretty good actually, because you can sort of like pressure them with down angled forward air out of shield, and then once they're in that corner, you can just react to see how they like to get out the corner, and then go from there. If they like to use projectiles to help them get back to stage, running off forward airing is always a good idea, just to tell them to stop. Stop doing that. You're not gonna get back on stage that way. Um, so yeah. Um, once they're on the ledge, again, difficult for them to get off. And once Mii Gunner's on the ledge, it's difficult for them to get off. They can kind of try and use the down ledge drop down B to sort of help them, but again, that runs into the same problem of, if you read that, that's just a back air away. If they neutral get up shield, that's difficult for them to get out the ledge with, because you hit them, and then it's like, well, I've F tilted their shield, now what? Because a lot of their projectiles are slow to start up. Like the one that the neutral beat grenade thing takes like a second to get out. And you're not just going to stand there for a whole second and let them do it. And again, bomb drop, you can hit bomb drop away with cross. And then again, missile takes such a long time to sort of start up. You're vulnerable to sort of getting overwhelmed and overpressured, and you can't do anything out of shield, which is difficult for the Mii Gunner to deal with. So you kind of want to smother them and make sure that they don't play neutral. So I played this, like I said, I played this matchup a few days ago, and I was not happy on it on PS2. I think it gave them too much room to sort of start spamming things, and it was difficult to get through on. I tried Kalos once. Kalos wasn't too bad for once, just because if you're on ledge, you've got that other platform, the platform above, to help you get off the ledge. I think it does more for you than it does for them, because obviously you can just die to like a random edge guard, or you just sent too far to do anything. So yeah, Kalos, for the first time in my life, I played Kalos. In 2 years, I played Kalos with this character, and I kind of recommend it in this matchup. Probably the only matchup I would recommend it for, but I would recommend it for this character, just to help you get off the ledge. Obviously, it does the same thing for them. It helps them get off the ledge, but I think you have a lot of easier time covering the platform with your big disjoint, rather than them covering it with anything else. So, yeah. Again, if you're going to get hit, try and get hit upwards rather than the side. I think I just kept double jumping off ledge, and then I'd get hit by up air, which kills at like 90 or 100. But if you're below those sort of ranges, it's worth it to just tank the up air, because then at least you can try and land on stage. Yeah, very difficult matchup. Because you can't, because you got to kind of get in. They don't have to get in. They can just kind of like slowly inch forward with like missiles and like bombs and stuff. And then you're gonna like try and get in to at least tip a whip range, but it's difficult if the stage is big. And again, once you're on ledge, it's difficult to get off. Like that neutral B, you just don't have the mobility to help you get around. I did learn the other day that you can dash attack that neutral B. So if they're sitting there charging neutral B, you could dash attack through it and hit them for it. If you're on the ledge and they're just cascading neutral Bs at you, you've just got to watch for the timing, and then you can sort of like neutral get up, jump, air dodge at the same time. Don't get neutral get up shield, because if you get neutral get up shield, you're just getting dash grabbed, and depending on timing, if you roll, you can just get F tilted, and you're the same way, and you're just in the same situation. So you've got to watch for the timing of it. It was really asinine, if I'm honest. I can't. Not that I'm complaining, because I have no right to complain. That's like me calling the pot the ket. It's like me calling. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. Sorry. So I can't complain about being ledge trapped. But yeah, it's kind of like one of those matchups where you just get put on ledge, and then because of your low mobility, it's difficult to do anything. So yeah. I just like I said, I just decided to jump most times and either mix up between forward air dodge, backwards air dodge, not directional air dodge, but like jump, drift back air dodge, or just jump back on double jump and mix it in an air dodge, or not mix it in an air dodge, or mix in a down air, or try and land on a platform. So yeah, it was difficult, and I don't think it's an easy matchup. That being said, there's not a lot of Mii Gunners, so I'm probably not sure that there's going to be a massive amount of counterplay out there for this matchup. Or probably a whole lot of experience. Um, but yes, it's okay. It's kind of like I said, it's kind of like Samus, but better in some aspects where she's not like pumping out projectiles per second, but actually her Mii Gunner's just a little bit less uh good overall, if you know what I mean. She's not like Samus where she's just a lot better of a character. But yeah, typical matchup, even I would say, but difficult. Um, but yeah, charge shot wise, you can just look back to what I said about Samus's charge shot. You can just whip anything less than half charge shot. I think actually charge shot's probably easier to deal with than the grenade because it's not constant pressure. And if they're going the route where they're like, oh, I'm going to sort of outplay you and try and do my Mii Gunner and wall stuff out, I think I'd just double down on the ledge trapping. Just just somehow win neutral and just make sure you just don't get off ledge rather than use charge shot for neutral at all. Um, the only other thing is reflector. I've never played anybody with reflector, and again, it could be useful, but again, you kind of don't want to be spending too much time in neutral using projectiles if your opponent is just trying to wall you out with projectiles. Again, and then it won't help with reverse cross, and it won't really help with holy water or axe massively. So yeah, I don't think reflector is the way to go. I don't think down the nest magnet's the way to go. I think just double bomb grenade, double bomb missile, unless the PK fire knockoff is any good. But again, how many Mii Gunners do you fight realistically? Um, Probably not many. But yeah, even matchup. Whoever wins neutral can just keep the other one at ledge, and it's kind of like really difficult. So yeah. Master of the Xenoblade universe, Shulk. I'm gonna put Shulk here, and I'm not gonna put him in counterplay yet. And the only reason I'm not going to put in counterpick yet is just because I haven't fought a good one. If I fought a good one, I might change my mind. But as of yet, I remain stoic in that the fact that it is an okay matchup. Like I fought a few good Shulks on Wi-Fi. There's one from Spain on Toss I've played. I've played Sir Knight in France. I've also played Owl Baby Shulk when he had his Shulk phase for a little bit. And I played Robbie AK-47. Generally, kind of won all of those. Obviously, not all of them. They kind of like 60. I beat Robbie, like beat Ontos in the best of 5 on Wi-Fi. I played Sir Knight for one game in a crew battle, and I almost won when I had 2 stocks and they had 3. It was last stock, last hit. And then I played Owls a few times, and I've won in friendlies a few times. So yeah, I mean, you kind of want to do the same thing. Let's be honest. You kind of both want to do the same thing. You both want to kind of like land aerials and you use your big disjoints to sort of start advantage. But I think you have the tools to be able to keep up with Shulk. His nair is just so slow, and I don't think speed art massively helps with that. Obviously, it helps if he's jumping at you, but if you know how to parry nair, and if you can parry back air or avoid the grabs, he kind of very basic. For me, I don't feel very threatened by him until he hits me, and then everything goes the shape of the pear. Um, so yeah, the thing is with Shulk, you've kind of just got to mix up between like dash back forward tilt because you can't cover all the space with jump with speed. Sorry, you can anti-air him. Your forward tilt's longer than his. You can forward tilt him because his jump is so low, or you can forward air him because his jump is so low. And then you can not pretend. You can parry his move, and you get decent reward off that. Actually, if he perfectly spaces his neutral air, he can not be punished. If he shields immediately, you can't up B. But if he's like a frame off, you can up B him. And then if he wants to do the stuff where he hits with the back end of Nair, I've seen a lot of Shulks do that. Man, just hit him as he's starting up the second one. Like the back hit of Nair, just your whip is longer than that. Just hit him for it. Just forward air him, forward tilt him, etc. etc. But yeah, again, neutral's annoying because speed art just wins neutral all day long. You know, he can run around, just be generally annoying. I will say that it's difficult for him to jump over cross with speed art. He has to commit to a full hop, which means you can start then anti-airing him properly because it lowers his jump heights, so he can't jump over cross with a short hop, which is annoying. And then once he once he shields it, you've got a little bit more stage to work with, so that's annoying for him. And again, if he decides to try and land with like a forward air or land with something, you can always just beat him to the jump punch and then start anti-airing him. How much reward you get off that with shield is probably very minimal because obviously shield art exists and it just says no thank you to all of your combos. But actually, neutral in his favour. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's even. I'm not saying you can do it. But I think you've got tools around neutral where you can make it more difficult for him to do so. Especially if you decide to like camp under a platform. If you like a hollow bastion platform and you're just like sitting in the middle of it, difficult for him to do much because his angles of jumping are very very limited in what he can really actually do. Because if you've got stage control, it's a lot it's a lot better for you. And then he shouldn't really be using jump art in neutral because he takes forever to float down to the ground. If he's going to use jump art, is to stall so he can sort of like try and gather another art back. So if like he's used shield art, for example, like the optimal strategy for him would be to like, oh, let's switch to jump mode. Like, no, play neutral with speed mode, then play jump art, and then be like, oh, my 15 seconds has run out now. I've got shield art back. So yeah, then he can use shield art again. So yeah, difficult matchup. But neutral wise, I think we got a few bits, but again, I'm not massively convinced. If somebody wanted me to argue that he's consider counter picking, you know, I'm not going to argue with them. But like I said, based on what I've played, I think it's bad, but not the worst. But then again, like I said, the shulks around the United Kingdom and EU are not the greatest. Like we haven't got like a Kome or a Jared is king or whatever, so it's difficult to analyze it from that sort of perspective. Obviously, like ledge trapping wise and corner pressure wise and edge guarding wise, Shulk just completely destroys us. Like, yeah, if he hits you off stage in like smash art at like 60, run off forward, it's kind of just like free. It's just that easy. Like you just run off and forward air, and it just beats every single tether imaginable. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad for them. But like corner pressure wise, I think as long as you like play it safe and play it slow, you can wait out smash art. Like you can absolutely 100% wait out smash art because if you like neutral get up and you're there in smash art, you can just hold shield, and if they want to decide to sort of like run up and grab you, you can play around that. You can jump off stage and throw holy water, throw cross, tether to ledge, and then you can use cross to sort of cover either your neutral get up, your roll, or your jump, and go from there. And you can just wait out smash art that way. I mean, like you're still in the corner and you've put yourself back on ledge, but you're no longer being hit by smash art scary mode. So yeah, and then advantage wise, like I said, as long as shield mode's on the table, Shulk should never die, because like holy water into anything is just shield mode. But then again, like with how bad holy water is, it doesn't really matter, because every character has like a shield mode if they just wiggle the stick. But then once he's got no shield mode, that's when he struggles. And like I said, all of his moves are bad on startup, so it's actually funny. You've probably got better frames than he has, and like in an up close battle CQC, like your moves are better than his. Like your jab, I think is about the same frame, but up B is just has that intangibility, so it doesn't matter. His grab's better. But yeah, a difficult matchup. Like I said, if anybody wants to put it in counter picking, go for it. I think it's doable, but it's probably looking at the characters down here. I think Shulk would be the first one to go into counter pick. And even looking at the characters over here, I'm like, yeah, this character's probably the one I would put into counter pick the quickest. He's like the closest to. He's like the closest to consider counter picking out of the lot. But yeah, if you start parrying, start shielding, just really annoy them, and then just outplay their attempts to use landing grabs and things like that, you can get a lot of work done. But yeah, I think to win, you have to be the better player. Like if you came up against a Shulk that's about the same skill level as you, you'd probably lose. But yeah, not really much more to say about that. Like I said, if some people want to put it down here, I'm not arguing, but I'm just going to put it here for now until I'm proven wrong. So yeah, that's that. Our next character is Roy. It's Roy Cooper. Bowser Jr. I kind of don't know where to put this one. He's an annoying character to play. I don't know whether I should put him in slightly winning or even. I'll put me in even to begin with, and I'm sure I'll find my way along. So again, kind of a not common character, but it does a lot of work actually randomly. We've got a few over here in England, the United Kingdom. Never really struggled with any of those, but I understand the character is difficult. The main thing about this character is killing him, because he's kind of like, again, he's heavy, and if you hit the cart, he can just live forever. Especially things like up B out of shield, you're just never killing Bowser Jr. with up B out of shield. It's just, or like down air to up B, it's just not working, because the cart makes the knockback like what 0.9%, and with DI, I've had Bowser Jr.'s live down air up B at like 170, and it is just so ridiculous how much the cart can save him. But if you hit Bowser Jr. himself, he'll die 10% earlier, which is great. But yeah, it's just difficult to kill him without being. It kind of means you can just land on your shield with no impunity. He takes like 16%, and that's it. He will just. I remember playing Bonig, who's one of the London ones, and we were playing, and I think my up B was so stale. He just lived at like 210% on like Hollow Bastion. He didn't even kiss the blast zone. Like the mini map just barely came up. And I just looked, and he just laughed, and he was like, "You're just never killing me." But no, like neutral wise, it's not too bad actually. if they want, it depends on how they want to play and how they want to sort of move around with using Mecha Koopa. So yeah, I mean, first of all, if you notice them pulling Mecha Koopa, you need to go over there and challenge that. Like, you can't let them pull Mecha Koopa for free, because that is obviously what makes the character okay. Um, so yeah, it's plenty of walling out. If they decide to approach with side B, you should be able to beat that with F tilt. Um, so yeah, that's not too much of a problem. Cross can be really annoying for them to deal with because it covers the ground. But yeah, they kind of just hit really hard. If they grab you, they'll juggle you for like 60%, and that's kind of, you just got to hold that really. Um, yeah, like juggling is really difficult for them for you to get down with, because up air, not only is it a disjoint, but it's like really fast as well. It's got so little lag. It's like frame 5 up air with like 3 frames of end lagging or whatever. It's like so nuts. They hit you once and they can literally just do like up throw, dub, jump, up air, fast fall, up air, up air, up air, up air, and you end up at like 56%, and you're either juggled or you're DI'd off stage. Um, and then Bowser Jr. has really good edge guarding, so he can go super far off stage with Clown Car. Forward air is like nice and big disjoint. He can use Mecha Koopa as well to cover that like 45-degree angle. If he like stands at the side of the stage and opens it, falls off stage, that can hit like a tether swing, or they can like get it in their hand and just throw it down to prevent you from doing something. That's difficult to deal with. Um, and then obviously when you get onto the ledge, you've just got to fight your way off. Jab, although jab kills, but even though it just sends so far sometimes that you just can't recover, even at like 80-90%. And again, if you decide to up B as the punish, again they're taking 16% because you hit the cart, and they're getting less damage of it. So that's okay for them. But yeah, once you hit them, it's really difficult for them as well. A lot of Bowser Juniors like to sort of like side be high, but you can always just sort of like double jump up and back air that, and depending on spacing, you might just kill them at 90 because you hit Bowser Junior, or you could hit them at 130 and not kill because you hit the cart. So, well, we love gimmicks. Um, So yeah, if they tend to double jump and side be high, just call that out and stop them doing it. Risky for them to go low as well, because if you can drop holy water off the ledge and it hits them out of their up B, they're just dead at any percent. So yeah, it's just all about how they play neutral. Some will just camp with things, camp with projectiles. Not massively the most effective camp tactic, but they can be annoying with that. Um, Watch out for side B and deal with it. You can F tilt it away and just immediately beat it and stop all the threat. But they can just like cancel it early and jump over your F tilt. And then you have to play the mini game of like, oh, they've jumped over my forward tilt. I've got enough time to pull up shield, or I've got enough time to like up B. What do I want to do? Because you could try and jump away, but you just might get clipped by something. So yeah, it's difficult because if you just keep doing the same answer to cart, you will get punished severely. So yeah, mix up what you do with cart. If they want to jump from it, you can always try and deal with it. Dash attack can clip the top of it. You can try and air to there them with neutral air. You can just try and jump back air, or jump back forward air, as another way of just getting them off. Or if they go jump over you, you can try and up tilt. And then yeah, just once you're on the once they're on the ledge, it's difficult for them to get off. If they go super high, again you can double jump and tap them with back air for an easy kill potentially. Or if they're committed to going super high, you can double jump up air, and that might kill them early. But again, if you're more than likely hitting the cart there, so you're killing them 10% later than you normally would. It's annoying because if any time they're above you, you're hitting the cart, which makes it really difficult to kill them vertically. You need to kill them horizontally. And again, if you run off a nair and they're up B, if they don't air dodge through it, you're just killing them. So yeah, kind of an annoying matchup. A lot of their moves are safe if spaced, their aerials. So again, you don't just want to sit there and do nothing. Kind of like want to be very preemptive with it. The only other thing is just watch out for when they up B past ledge and then air dodge through you. Do not have any of that. Do not get hit by that buffoonery. Do not get hit by that madness. So yeah, kind of an even matchup. If you don't know it, you'll just get blown up. It's just a very hard one. You've just got to play almost constantly perfect every single time. Difficult, but yeah, that's Bowser Jr. Iggy's the one that's the hardest. The hardest matchup is Iggy. The easiest one is Morton. If they go Morton, they're just throwing. That's a +2 matchup, Morton. Iggy is a -7. Counterpick Iggy always. In case you don't know, that was just genuine sarcasm. None of them do the same. They all have the same models and hitboxes, so don't worry about it. Well, how cool would that be if like each Koopaling did something better, and slightly worse? Like Iggy had like 10% more cannon damage, but like had 10% less down air damage, or like Morton had like 20% more, 10% more forward smash damage, but his F tilt did 10% less damage, and you had to keep track of all of those. That'd be wild. That'd be so cool, actually. I will use Iggy because the cannonball damage in this game will do me a lot better. Wild. Don't make me be a game developer. Next we've got Duck Hunt Duo. Yeah, that's kind of winning. Yeah, kind of winning. Like it's easy to sort of win this matchup accidentally. Kind of is, really is. Like, I kid you not, it's kind of easy to lose it accidentally. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of easy to accidentally win this matchup. Champman has forever been trying to beat me. Funny story, right? Champman's one of the duck hunts in my region. You probably know him if you're a Wi-Fi player. And I played him, and then like 3 days later, he was like, do you mind if my friend plays you?" And I was like, go on then, because we'd been playing friendlies for like 30 minutes. And he was like, "Yeah, do you mind if my friend jumps in and plays a few games with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, go for it. Why not? Why not, right?" So the friend joined the arena. Do you know what his tag was? Squirrel. I'm like, Chapman, is that Squirrel from Austria? He's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, Squirrel, the one that got like 9th at that major last weekend, almost beating Andres FN. He was like, yeah, I think he's that one. I was like, what? So basically, Chapman decided he's had enough of losing on me to me. I'm gonna stick my PR rated friend on you. He basically told his big brother, and he got me to fight him. We did a best of 5, and I won 3-2. Game 1 was a 3-stock. I just flubbed everything. Yeah, I went 2-0 down, and then I won 3-2. I understood what I was doing at the end of it. Game 1 was like top player nerves. You know, if you ever like joined an arena and there's like a top player playing, and you know they're a top player, you just like all your inputs just like go to absolute heck and back. Like, But yeah, apart from that, so yeah, I played a few duck hunts. I've played all the ones in the UK. I played a few in Europe. I'm willing to say the matchup is easy enough to win. So yeah, the big thing in this matchup is that Cross just beats every projectile. Like as soon as they hit a B button, you can just throw Cross and it will beat it. Can goes straight through it. Gunman beats Gunman. Discus, Frisbee goes straight through Clay Pigeon. So any response to anything, you can just mash side B and you kind of just win. Which means that Can is no longer as effective as it is because you can just sort of like F tilt Can and it will send straight back. And if they're like, oh, I will set up Gunman, you're just like, oh, I'm just going to side B. And it will beat Gunman. And it will force Duck Hunt to shield. And then you get stage control. And then all of a sudden, Duck Hunt has no Can, nothing out, no Can, no Gunman. He's in the corner, and you've got stage control. And it's like, well, what does he do? Right? He's got a few safe options with like spaced down tilts and spaced forward airs and spaced back airs. But apart from that, you're like he's not getting in. Like he's not like landing on you with like a neutral air or something. Can is difficult to get out because obviously your moves go straight through Can and deal with it. And then it just becomes this war of attrition where it's like rather than the Duck Hunt, you going to the Duck Hunt and doing stuff, he has to come to you because Cross is just so safe. It's just so easy to just throw cross and deny whatever Duck Hunt wants to do. And if he ever shields for a long period of time and you land an aerial, Duck Hunt is just can't do anything. Like it's like no let up whatsoever. If they jump, well, they're kind of floaty, so they have to land, and that's difficult for Duck Hunt to do because you can just cover everything. You can pester them with aerials. You can trap their landings with cross and holy water. And if they decide to corner themselves, well, they've they're not in a good position. So it's difficult for them to get out the corner. Difficult for them to land. And that with them being so light, your kill power is actually it doesn't matter that your kill power is kind of inconsistent because they're very light. Can being a frame one escape option just doesn't matter. You just do not care about their Can being a frame one escape option because you're like the snake grenades, you're rarely in a position where it actually matters because you're spacing yourself so far away from them that Can just doesn't thing. And Belmont doesn't have many combos that aren't true, like Nair Fair is just true, and if they want to Can through that, they're just going to give themselves 13% extra damage because I'm not getting hit by their Can because I'm like 6 feet away. So yeah, difficult for them. They've got to make the approach. And if you just throw cross at any B button they want to do, you're just going to eat through it. If they land something that's not safely spaced on your shield, you just up B. If they get like really lazy and land with a neutral air, you just up B. If they try and land with a spaced forward air, that's fine. But then you're like, oh, okay, you're now landing with spaced forward airs. I'm going to challenge you with a neutral air because I know you're trying to land it safely to make sure that you don't get hit. I will say that once they get going, it can be difficult to you to get off of ledge and get back to neutral. So yeah, that can be difficult because obviously once they start hitting you with like clay pigeons and clay pigeon back air or clay pigeon up air or clay pigeon down air off the ledge, or they get you into like they use down B and they combo that into grab and they toss you into Can, which gets you off stage. The edge guarding is kind of easy because Nair lingers for a long time. They can use Can to help them. So yeah, once they get going, again, they're kind of like a lot of these characters. Once they get going and they get that hit, you're Simon, and you're Richter, you're the Belmont, so you will just take 50 and be at your mercy of edge guarding. But it's not too bad in the grand scheme of things, right? It's just more difficult for them to win neutral rather than anything else. So yeah, and then obviously once they get hit, it's difficult for them because you're not going to go out and edge guard them too often. You can do is if they get lazy, you can just like a run off and forward air and they will die at 60. But once they get to the edge, again, what do they do? A lot of them like to sort of ping Can onto stage. So they'll recover and they'll ping Can onto the stage and sort of use it to help them get off the ledge. Yeah, you can just sort of like forward to it away whilst it's midair and be like, no, you can't land Can on stage to help you. So if the Duck Hunt wants to succeed in this matchup, they need to kind of put the B moves away, because once they start setting up like gunmen at like longer ranges, you just throw cross, and all of their hard work has been destroyed. They kind of need to sort of like use neutral B to get a little bit closer to you, just like walk up and shield and use their kind of good mobility to sort of get closer to you, and then they can start using things like can to sort of try and get in, or you land a spaced move like a forward air and combo off of that, or if they're at like mid percent, maybe a down tilt to send up into tech chases, because once they start up into tech chases, it can be really difficult for you to sort of get out of that little blender. And obviously they can go hard off stage, because even like a tap can kill you. But again, if you're feeling the heat and they're not running off stage, again, just throw cross either at them to disrupt their plan, or throw it away from them and then tether to ledge, and that'll help you get off the ledge as well. But yeah, difficult matchup for Duck Hunt. Kind of winnable, but not easy for them. They have to play in a different way than they would against most other characters, because the war of attrition cross is just too good. It's too oppressive in the matchup. It's just too centralizing. I will say though, if you're playing Simon and Richter, don't just throw cross randomly, because if you start throwing cross randomly, then that gives them time to set up, because you should throw it as a reaction to those things, but don't just go, I'm going to throw cross, because then they can just walk up and run up and shield, and suddenly you've lost stage control, and now the threat of them spawning a gunman or spawning something else is difficult. So yeah, don't throw it willy nilly. Use your tilts a little bit more often. Only use cross as like a, oh, you've pulled gunman, cross. So yeah, I don't think I've got anything more to say about that. I mean, if they have can sort of like make projectiles go a little bit funky. I don't know all the interactions myself, like, but yeah, hit lag can be annoying because of can, because it can also extend hitboxes. That's also another thing. If they got can on ledge, for example, and they neutral get up and you forward tilt the can, it can extend your hitboxes. Same with axe. If you use axe to clank with the can, then the axe is out longer, and it potentially might catch them hanging on the ledge, or just pressure their ledge hang. But yeah, kind of rough for them. Poor Duck Hunt. Next character, I might as well just do these two because they're the same. The only difference, they only got one difference. Ken and Ryu. Ryu I'm going to put up here. Ken I'm going to put down here. The only differences between them, the reason why Ken's down here and Ryu is up here is because Ken is faster and Ryu's fireballs do absolutely nothing for him. Obviously the difference is that he's got better Ryu's got better fireballs, which are useful for, like, controlling space, approaching with, dealing with shields, but all of that just does not matter, because you can just forward tilt the Shakanetsu and it just disappears, and that's it. Like, his fireballs do not matter whatsoever. You can also down tilt under them, and the same goes for Ken's Hadoken. If you F tilt Ken's Hadoken or Shiryu's Shakanetsu, they will both disappear. And if you just down tilt under both of them, you will down tilt under them, and then you probably have enough time to down tilt 2 and start advantage. So his fireballs do not matter, and him being slower is worse for him, and him being faster is better for him, because obviously being faster means that you're harder to deal with than slow old Ryu and his pithy fireballs. So apart from that, that's the only difference between the two of them. I generally do not care about any of the other differences, like, oh, but Ken's got this knee shield break set up, or he's got collarbone breaker, or look, they hit you once, they both deal you 60. Like, the difference between them apart from that is negligible, right? They both hit you, they both deal you 60, they're both going to kill you, right? This one with Shoryuken, this one with whatever he wants to do. they're both the same edge guarding wise, and that they don't do it very often. They both mash down, tilt into up B, or whatever kill confirms they've got. Right, they're pretty much the same character apart from the fireballs and the mobility. That's that's it, right? So general game plan is once they figure out the Shaku loses to thing, they will be like, damn, what do I do now? Right? Because Shaku doesn't work because you just forward tilt it or you down tilt it on reaction. So now they're like, well, I've got to run over there and do something about him now. And you're like, oh, he's going to run over there and do something about me now. So if he runs on the ground, you forward tilt him. And if he jumps in the air, you can decide to meet him with a rising neutral air. You can dash attack his feet. You can decide to dash back and forward tilt him. You can dash back holy water. You can run under up tilt, depending on what he wants to do. And then you can go from there. You should be able to win neutral from there. If he jumps over and focus attacks, you just neutral air. It's like, or you can sometimes, they've had it where they know I'm going to run up and neutral air, so they'll start focusing immediately and drift away. But yeah, same old, same old. Like, deal with the jump ins. If you get hit, use the popular Ryu counterplay, SDI up and away. Mash up B like your life depended on it. You're probably going to die at 80, 90 from Rage, sure you can. But ideally, you hit him once, you ledge trap him. If they want to decide to use focus, you neutral air through it. If they ever have to use Tatsumaki to recover, you run out there and forward air and you kill them at any percent, right? They struggle to get off the ledge because, again, focus only helps them so much because you've got neutral air, and even if they don't, even if you don't focus, if you don't neutral air, you can still trap their landings by doing whatever you need to do. Whip catches landings, cross catches landings, holy water catches landings. So yeah, just keep Angry Man away from you. Just keep Angry Man away from you the way you would keep Angry Plumber Man away from you. So as long as you're doing that, you should be fine. Like I said, it's easier to do than Ken because Ryu's slower. And again, if you Shaku's, forward tilt, or you down tilt under it, and you do down tilt to and hit him. Apart from that, the matchups are completely the same. Big Scary Blonde Man does it the same as well, right? Struggles to get off ledge, uses focus, does a few. I've watched The Art of Ken by Izor. I still have no clue how to play that character. I still have no clue what that character does, and I still have no clue what his special moves do. I just pray that they don't get in. I just play simple neutral. Don't let Angry Man get on top of you. Don't let Angry Man get into CQC, and that's it. Just hit them away. If they like to let jump, deal with their jump-ins, as I said, for like 101 of these different characters. Go from there, ledge trap them. If they Tatsu, hit them. If they Tatsu, hit them again. And then that's about it. There's really there's really not anything much more I can say about these characters that you probably haven't heard for all of them. If they decide to Tatsu on the ground for whatever reason, you could just shield that and up B. I know Ken has some weird property where like the light one is you can mash up B during some of his Tatsus, but it's not completely true. So I have a Ken down here called Kit Fist, and he Tatsu'd me at low percent, and I just mashed up B and it worked. And then I mashed up B and he shielded it, and I was like, ooh. But again, I don't know enough about these characters and their medium and heavy and light Tatsus and Shoryukens to know much more than just don't get hit, right? Unless you've got like a super brain Ken that can explain you to all of these and you just remember it and you're just like, yes, he hit me with medium Tatsu here instead of light Tatsu because I definitely know the difference between the two somehow, right? I don't know. But yeah, apart from that, just don't mash cross if they're at Tatsu distance because obviously they have lower body intangibility. You can just shield it and hit. You can shield it on B. Ryu kills you a little bit harder. If you're ever at kill percents versus Ken, SDI in like your life depended on it, and you might sneak out through his heavy Shoryuken But if he uses the medium, sure, you can you die a little bit on earlier. But honestly, if at that point he's choosing whether he kills you or not, because who knows what medium and and heavy ones do apart from the Ken players themselves, right? I know very little about these characters. I know so little I can't even do the Shaku input. When I get Ryu on like random, I'm throwing the blue fireball, and I'm just sort of like jab 1 2 up, jab 1 2 up B, and that is like neutral for me. I'm so bad. I just don't know what these characters do, but I just know that I know we win, and I know you just keep them away, and I know that if you hit, you done goofed, and that the fireballs do not matter, and that Ken is harder than Ryu. That's all I know. Sorry if you were expecting anything more than that. Like, oh yes, if they hit you with like, oh, collarbone breaker. That's the only other thing. He's got collarbone breaker. This guy has a shield break set up involving like up tilts, and then you have to roll away. If he does like one up tilt, you have to roll away immediately. Otherwise, he will collar true block string into a shield break or something. So be wary of that. And this guy has collarbone breaker, who's his heavy forward tilt. So if he does that, roll in, and he won't hit you with it. But you have to know that he's going for it. So you might be able to condition this guy to sort of go for it if you keep shielding. Again, who knows? Just fighting game characters, man. Not in not in my Smash. Thankfully, back to a normal character, Cloud. Cloud's an even. I think he's just the same as Roy, and he's just the same as Lucina, but he's got blonde hair. Instead of blue or red, and that's pretty much it. Like, we all know what Cloud does. It's pretty much, if you go back to the Roy video, he's pretty much the same thing as Roy, really. Where if you win neutral and you parry his moves, you can keep up with him in neutral. You can exploit his bad disadvantage, but he can also do exactly the same to you, right? He can struggle. He doesn't struggle to get in. He has limit, which means if he wants to, he can just run away and limit camp. But if he's doing that, he's giving up stage control, which can be very risky for him. And obviously in the corner, he's just got back air. And if he spaces back air properly, even on parry, you can't do a damn thing about it. If he does it poorly, you can up B it. Like, if he like spaces it poorly and you parry, you can up B it. But yeah, not the most reliable thing in the world to do. You just got to watch what they do after they land the neutral, the back air, and go from there. If you're a higher percent, like 90, 100, 110, typically they will like to do something like landing back air forward tilt, because it might kill or just send you off stage. Some like to land with shield, because you'll condition, they're expecting the up B, so they'll land their back air, immediately shield, and it will just be everything you can do. Up B won't work, forward air out shield won't work, so you've got to be careful. Just study what they do after the back air and play around there. If they immediately shield, you outplay from there. Like, you can run up and potentially grab, or you can run up and feint them, pretend that you're going to grab, or you can run up shield yourself because they got their back to you. Really just depends on the character and the Cloud you're playing habits. Like, you've just got to be very aware of what they do. Same thing with forward air. If they space the forward air, don't bother drop being it. But if you run up and shield it and you mess up the spacing, rip that up B, my fella. Rip that up B. But again, apart from that, there's no difference between him really and like a character like Lucina. You have the range to challenge him in the air. You have the disjoints. Ledge trapping he's got no gimmicks to get out of ledge trapping. He just kind of kills you earlier with like side B. And his juggling is really good. But again, Lucina's juggling's really good. He's fast faller, which means it's annoying for him. He can be edge guarded if you know what you're doing, and if you want to take that risk, you can do it. Not advisable all the time, but again, a sneaky forward air off stage. You know, game 4, second stock, forward air off stage, go for it. Like, why not? If he's gonna die from it, go for it. But yeah, there's no special gimmicks with this matchup. You just have, if the better player will win, and I think Cloud is just one of those characters. You know, just watch my Lucina video or my Roy video, and then the same thing will happen. Like, win neutral, you win the game. Lose neutral, you probably lose the game. You start getting out the corner, he's not much better. He juggles you a lot better, but you trap his landings quite well. Your moves contest is in the air because you've got bigger range, but he's a lot better on the ground because he's faster. He's got limit, which makes all of his moves super duper, and he can't be edge guarded for like 15 seconds. But yeah, his edge guarding's not that great, but it can work. Like, run off neutral air is kind of hard to deal with. Blade beam can sort of help stall him, and neutral air can kind of be really annoying, especially the back hit of neutral air. Can be really difficult. But yeah, kind of an even matchup. If you're playing better, you'll win. But you just need to know how to get out of the corner with Cloud. I'm not too sure if you can down till under Cloud back air. I'm gonna say no, but it's definitely something I need to test because you might be able to like down till under it, plus or minus hitting him. That's just food for thought. But yeah, I think it's an even matchup. If you're better than them, you'll win. So yeah, no special gimmicks. That's that. Talk about no special gimmicks. Corrin, yeah, slightly winning. Again, the only difference, what I say about Marth, Lucina, just sort of applies here, really. The only reason why Corrin is in here is because she's slower, but that's about it, right? She's slower, which means it's harder for her to get in. So you can sort of play the walling game. You know, she wants, again, her ground game's not too great. Pinned for whiff punishing is not very effective because you don't tend to have you're not whiffing a lot massively versus the character, and your character's got little end lag, and most things auto cancel, so it's not massively the greatest thing for them to be able to rely on. Their projectile, air quotes projectile, is null and void. You just forward tilt that and it goes away. Counter sends you upwards. That's no good for them. Unless to juggle you. And then apart from that, they rely on sort of this walling game where it's like, I'm Corrin, I'm gonna cover this area of space. Like, if you imagine their up tilt, not their up tilt, their up air or their neutral air, all that area is like, you can't go here. But then as Simon and Richter, you're like, oh, I don't care about them going here because I've got a 6-foot long whip and I'm just gonna hit you. And then their slow walling defensive gameplay turns into, okay, I've got to run over there and do something about it now. So yeah, again, if they hit you, it's difficult because things like landing forward air or landing up air can lead into a juggle situation, and that's difficult to sort of deal with. Once Corrins hit you and they are juggling you, it's generally difficult for you to get down because of their frame traps. Their frame traps are just so good. Like, even if you like air dodge an up air, they can just immediately land with a neutral air or a forward air, and that's into more damage and more damage. And then you're like, oh well, I'll go to the ledge and then obviously the ledge is like, you know, they've got a few things. Back air's really good and it's safe and it's auto spaces itself. If they randomly read an option with like forward smash, they can chunk your shield or just beats neutral get up. Or if they like wait too long on the ledge, they can pin, and that can be difficult. So yeah, ledge game, it's exactly the same as Cloud, really. You just have to be the better player and find a way off. If they're not edge guarding you, which is not easy for them to do, it's doable with back air. And that's the only thing they can really they can only really edge guard you with. They can only really edge guard you with back air, because forward air will just send you up and out, and then you should just be able to drift back in and tether again. It's that and pin, which isn't the easiest move to hit. So apart from back air and tip a pin, edge guarding isn't too much of a problem, because their counter sends upwards, forward air sends upwards, up air sends surprisingly upwards. So they're not getting too much off edge guards. So if you're very careful about it and you notice that they're not going off and edge guarding you, you can again throw cross either at them or away from them to sort of help you get back onto stage. But that's about it. The main problem in this matchup is juggling. Once you're getting juggled, it's difficult to get down. It's like really difficult to get down. But the ledge play, again, it's just outplaying them. What you waiting for? Like, don't upbe the back air. Make sure you're not getting forward smashed and gimmicked by Yato's charging hitbox. If they grab you, again, it's not the end of the world. Up throw kills at like 160% with no rage, 170% with no rage on good DI because you're heavy. So yeah, taking a grab isn't good because you're getting damaged, but again, it's not the worst thing in the world. Same goes with Cloud, but he gets limit, so it's kind of a little bit worse. And he has like the third worst grab in the game, so worth it to just keep shielding. But again, she's got ways of beating shield. But yeah, again, just don't lose neutral. Like, her dash shield in neutral is really good. It's like the best in the game. But again, her ground speed in general isn't very good. And F tilt will keep her away, and cross will keep her away. So she wants to try and land all these big aerials, like big forward air. But again, if you react to her jump, you can just hit her for it. Or hit them for it, and that can be difficult for them to get off. And again, they've got no special gimmicks to get off ledge apart from like pin on Kalos and Yoshi's. Like, they can just drop ledge, pin, and then they can potentially jump or kick or something. But again, that's not too much of them. If you just ban those stages, like, I mean, why you shouldn't be playing on Kalos in the first place. So that's not a problem. I wouldn't probably take Corrin to Yoshi's just because of the up air killing. So, you know, that killing is not too much of a worry. But yeah, again, if you're just patient in neutral, realize that the dash shield is probably their main main tool to get close to you, and realize that they can't really get in if you're playing a camping game and you just keep away, they should not be able to get in. And they shouldn't be able to get off ledge very easily because they're slow, which is why it's easier than somebody like Marth or Lucina. So yeah, actually, I'm going to put them up here. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go for it. Yeah, I'm going to be bold for it. They're kind of like Ike, but better. No, I'll put them down here. I'll put them down here just because of their juggling. The juggling is keeping them down there, and the dash shield. Those two things are the only thing keeping them down there. But yes, just be aware of the dash shielding. Just be aware and react to the jumps. Be bold. Mix them up with grabs. Mix them up with fainting grabs. But as soon as you get touched, you can kind of just suck eggs, really. But yeah, overall, winning matchup, I think. There just aren't many of them. And then our final DLC for Smash 4. If any of you know me, you don't even need to know to look where this is going. You know where this is going. You know where Bayo's going if you know me. Like, this unequivocally might just be one of the worst matchups in the game. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. This matchup might just be one of the worst matchups in the game. Like, Pikachu Ganondorf, like, might even be better than Bayonetta Simon. Like, I kid you not, this matchup is so bad. Like, if you're Bayonetta and you are losing this matchup, like, just unplug just sell your console, really. This matchup is so bad, I could teach I could teach my nan to play Bayonetta, and in 2 weeks she would be beating me. It's that bad. Like, it's really bad. Now, I've played, like, every Bayonetta in the UK. Like, I've played Owl, I've played Bloom, I've played, like, Logue and Exca. I've played loads of, like, the European ones. Man, this matchup is so bad. It's so bad. Like, at least Ganondorf can kill Pikachu at like 80 with back air, right? Or like 50 with the smash attack. Not that he should ever be able to do that, but at least that's an option. This matchup, oh my, I was considering, there's no point in creating the -3 tier because you should counterpick anyway. And I almost beat Bloom that one time, right? That's the only thing. The thing is, people will be like, "Oh, you just don't know the matchup, Tom. You just no. I know the matchup, right? And I'm good at the matchup. Like I said, I almost beat Bloom Forever, who's like the second best Bayonetta in the world. Like, not even like the continent, the world. And I have so much matchup experience versus Owl Babies, who was like the 4th best in the world before he decided to stop playing a lot more than he used to. Yeah, he still plays, but like I played. And this isn't just sort of like, but they're just so much... I know they're so much better than me, but I played Alf into the pair of them, and I've taken more games with Alf than I have with Simon completely. I must have played maybe like 50 games versus Owl's Bloom. I didn't win one. I have beaten Owl's Bloom with Alf, and who is my co-main, but has a much easier matchup, and I'm better at Simon than I am at Alf. I understand this matchup very, very well. I have so much experience, and I kid you not when I say that this is probably the worst matchup in the game. I don't even know where to start. Like, where do you even start with a matchup this bad, right? Like, neutral-wise, don't even bother throwing Cross or Holy Water, right? Because they can just jump onto the Holy Water and Witch Time. And if you're in Witch Time distance, well, you've just got Witch Timed, and you're going to eat 60 because Bayonetta's going to heal slide you, and you're going to eat 60. Oh, you want to throw Cross? Okay, then, if they just jump over Cross, and then they just Witch Time returning Cross, you're slowed down, so you're either going to die at higher percents, or you're going to take 60 from all of their combos. But Tom, just SDI is not even that hard. SDI does pretty much almost nothing with Simon. My SDI is pretty good. Like, if you go and watch the set at Brentwood Brawl 3, my SDI was impeccable. I got out of rapid jab at like 120. My SDI was on point. I was SDIing for my life during that matchup, and I was still taking like 40-50% after one heal slide. And it's not even just like that bad. You're just so tall, right? You know how the Rob players are like, man, I'm just in disadvantage when I'm standing at mid-range, right? You know how they all just complain when they just get upward angled side B and take like 60 and get put off stage in a 50-50 edge guarding with like one of the best recoveries in the game, may I add. Like, Rob is big, but his burner goes so far, and he can hang on for so long with his up B. It's unbelievable. Edge guarding that character is really difficult, right? Then they still complain about that matchup. They're like, oh, sometimes I just get edge guarded by Bayonetta with my up B that lasts for like 20 seconds, and I can just act out of it when I want, and I can still jump and use my up B. Yeah, Simon doesn't even have that. Like, you get dragged off stage by Bayonetta, and you are literally in a 50-50 position where you just might die. Like, you just might die because you either jump immediately and up B or tether to ledge and hope they don't immediately do something, or you decide to wait, and if they wait, you die anyway. Yeah, so the Robs that complain, oh, I just get edge guarded and there's no way back. No, shut up. You have a way back because you got like the top 5 recovery in the game. I have a bottom 10 recovery, and if my option just gets red and her toe of neutral air just hits me, I just die. There is no making it back. There is no like, oh, I'll just jump and tether. It's I immediately jump and tether and die if they read that option, but I can get back if they don't. Or if they read the option and they read the fact that I'll wait and I try to outplay them with the jump up B, they can just kill me anyway. So, yeah, if you get dragged off stage, you might just die. you might just die. And it's like, cool, this can happen at any point in the match, by the way. Or they can just, like, guns. They just, like, stand on stage and guns, and you have to air dodge, because they shoot the guns, and you air dodge, and then they're just like, oh, I'll just run off and, like, pinky toe him with my neutral air. And you just die. Right? And it's not even... there's not even a lot you can do about it. You either just take the guns and you die anyway, because your momentum stopped, or they just run out there because you air dodge, and you just die anyway. So those are your two options. So... neutral consists of you being like, I'm just going to wait for you to do something and then just hope that I can cobble together something that will hit you for a lot of damage. Oh, but by the way, if you hit me, I'm probably taking 60% damage and I might end up off stage, or I might just take like 30% of damage and I'm an above you. So that's fun. So what else have we got? Oh yeah, did you know that they can crouch under F tilt? You know, like Bayonettas, they can just sit at, like, mid-range and just be like, I'm just going to crouch. And then you're just like, damn, what am I going to do? Because if you run up to them, they just run up and just up the angled side B. So that's not fun, because you just take a bunch of damage if you end up getting side B. And you can't F-tilt them, and you can't cross them. And if you're like, oh, holy water them, they just press down tilt. They press the A button, and then they catch your holy water. And I don't want... I have had some unspeakable things done to me once they catch my holy water. Just ask Bloom what he can do with holy water if he gets it as Bayonetta. Just for your sanity, for my sanity, don't make me relive them, please. It's just so bad. Like... damn, at least... So you're sitting there in neutral, right? You're losing at mid-range, and mid-range is your best range. It's not even like you're good at close quarters, because you're crap at close quarters. You're not good at long range, because you can't use projectiles. At least Rob mains can be like, oh, at least I'm at close quarter mains, where I can use my frame 3 down tilt to like, boom, 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 boom. If you're up close against Bayonetta, you're like, damn, I could use my risky frame 10 grab, which gets beaten by their witch twist, which is like frame 6 out of shield and hits both sides. Or I could like hopefully shield, maybe, and if they grab me, it's not the worst position, but they'll probably like up throw me or throw me towards the ledge. Or I could like try and bait something out by like up being out of shield, which does 18% damage, sends them up an angels, and it doesn't matter because they just do not care about ledge trapping anyway. Let me talk about ledge trapping. So, winning neutral is like the hardest thing in the world because you're automatically put at a disadvantage anytime you're in your best range, which is F-tilt tipper range. Oh, so what happens if you play like slightly outside of F-tilt tipper range? Oh, it doesn't matter because that is the range where side B works for them. Both grounded side B and aerial side B. They just go, oh, jump up and away. Jump up, side B up. Oh, it kick Simon in the face. Up B. Oh, don't forget you're a fast faller as well. You're a tall fast faller. So jab forward air 1-2 works really well on you. Like if you get hit by forward air 1-2, they go forward air 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, dush, dush, so yeah. Getting forward air 1 and 2, which was only a mix-up on shield anyway, because they can just forward air 1 and then do nothing. They could do forward air 1-2 and then just fade back, or they could do forward air 1-2 and 3 because why not? Why they need it? They need it in this matchup. So not only are you somehow winning neutral against the character who is better than you at mid-range, and mid-range is the place you're supposed to be the best at, you've also got projectiles that you can't use, because if you do use them, they'll just witch time you and kill you anyway. Then you've got this character who's got an oppressive dragging off stage game, who one of the top 10 characters religiously complains about, and they don't even die when they get sent off stage. They can just like float high and recover. So you've got this character in neutral where it's like, damn, all of my options just get beaten by you just sitting crouching. So you've got to cobble together somehow the fact that you're going to win neutral against them. Which is basically you just like running up and shielding, and then just like hoping that they do something stupid on your shield. Because if they down tilt you at max range, you can't do anything about that because it's safe, because it's spaced. And then it's like, you might just like side B to a platform, and you're like, great, I can punish it. No, you can't punish it. They could just shield onto a platform. Oh, but I can catch their no, they can't. You can't catch their landings. They're just side down. They just side B downwards. Oh, but you can at least up B that. There's like some small. There's at least some small consolation, right? So you've got this character where and if you do win neutral, let's say you like ran up and dash grabbed them, right? You put on your big boy pants. You ran up and dash grabbed them. You're getting like nothing off that, right? Down throw forward air doesn't work because it's not a true combo. So they can just don't even have to air dodge it. They can just like bats within it. And then if you forward throw them, they're at the ledge. I mean, let's say they somehow got off the ledge. Let's say you dash grabbed them and they're on the ledge now. You know, some wild fantasy they got on the ledge. It's time to ledge trap, right? Damn, my character's good at ledge trapping. Imagine if they had a burst option that just beat all of your ledge trapping. Yeah, that's just side B. Oh, you threw a laggy cross? Douche. Side B off ledge. Up air. Up B, sorry. Damn, you got reversaled. Now how are you going to kill them? Oh, you threw a returning cross? Better hope they don't just jump up onto ledge and then just immediately witch time your cross, and now you're slowed. Or, if you're not slowed, then you have to run to like mid-stage and your pressure is over. Don't jump, by the way. Don't jump and try to use back air to kill, because they will just be like, oh, he jumped! Frame 1! Instant! Jump up B! Jump side B! Oh, we got him, boys! Ha! 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 Oh, you're on the ledge now. You thought you could ledge trap Bayonetta? How? You will pay for your hubris. You will pay for thinking you could just edgeguard, just ledge trap this demon. I have no idea how, to this day, I took 2 stocks off Bloom. He was playing like ass. I've never seen him play so bad. I watched him play Orion at Icarus, just night and day. He wasn't even trying. And he still won. That's like, how bad this matchup? He was 2 stocks down, and he just thought, I'm still going to win this because this matchup is ass. Oh yeah, don't forget that a jab, fair 1-2 leads into jab, which also leads into a death situation, because obviously they have to guns after that. Witch time, up B, so if you miss anything, you're taking like 1 billion damage. Witch time screws over every sort of projectile. You've somehow got to kill them off a stray hit, because none of your setups work because of bats within. Yeah, they just SDI all your moves. Yeah, they just bats within. No returning up, cross up smash. Kiss that dream goodbye. So you can't kill him with the setup, because obviously holy water is the worst thing in the world for some reason. So they just down B it, and then you're just dead anyway. So you've got to kill this character with like what, forward throw at 140, or you've got to kill them with a back air at 110, maybe 105 because she's light. So yeah, those are your 2 reliable ways of killing her. You've got to read a back air somehow, or you've got to forward throw her somehow into the blast zone, because you're not edge guarding her, because it's Bayo. You can get an axe though. To be fair, you can axe her at like 120, and she will die because her 2 frame is really bad. You can just clip axe through the stage and it will kill her. So those are your 3 ways of killing her. Anything else you'll just bats within out, so she doesn't care. Ned's Affair doesn't work because the bat's within. The matchup's just worst. At least it's worse than Ganondorf, Bayo. I'm saying it right now. It's worse than Ganondorf, Bayo. Because at least Ganondorf can kill her at 80 with a stray back air, or 60 with a stray smash attack. Again, you're not landing those reliably. But at least the option's there. If the Mayo just decides to completely have a stroke and just gets hit by some random move, they're going to die at 80. With Simon, they're just like, oh, I'm 110. I'm going to get killed by axe and back air, or a random smash attack there. Somehow they've got to hit on this character who's flying around the screen like some sort of fighter jet. Yes, Sierra Yankee Tango, this is Aircraft 101. I'm going to fly across the stage and just avoid all of these very, very thin, inactive hitbox from this idiot trying to hit me from the ground. So yeah, worst matchup probably in the game. Probably. I'm sure Little Mac's got a worse one. Probably, maybe. But yeah, generally in contention for one of the top 5 worst matchups in the game. Just don't even bother playing this character. I've played it. I've tried it. And I understand those people are better than me. But the evidence is there. I can't do it. You could lose to mid-level Bayos, and it just wouldn't be your fault. Just counterpick them. I play Alf, and my life is so much easier. I'm not winning all the time, although I did take a game off Bloom's Bayo, and he switched off. But yeah, that's how bad it is. My Alf, who isn't even as good as my Simon, is taking games off Bloom, and my Simon can't do it. My Simon just can't do it. It's just not a matchup worth doing. Please, for your mental health, for your competitive integrity, please just don't play this matchup unless you're incredibly delusional or you just enjoy punishment. Because the day a Lima or Bloom gets upset by a Simon, I'm a believer again. I will believe when that happens. Do you know what? I will change. I will do anything. I would do anything to see that matchup solved. I would do anything to see one day Squid Plumber 3-0 Lima, Bayo Simon, or Bayo Richter. I promise you, please make it happen. I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. My mentality is like steel, but I can't do this. This character has just overloaded me. It cannot be done. It cannot be done at the top level. It just cannot be done at the top level. There's no way. It's just unwinnable. Just stop. Just don't bother. Character is just the anti-Simon. I think I'm going to leave it there. I've got another 20 minutes more ranting me. I just can't bother. I'm hungry. It's 7 o'clock. I need something to eat. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. Why is the Bayonetta section so much longer than everybody else's? Oh, you know why. The good news is I've only got a few left. I've just got the ultimate newcomers, and that's it really. And I think at the end of that one, I'll just shuffle all around and just do a general order. Thank you to anybody who's listening. Like I said, I don't care if people listen to this or not. I'm not doing this to get YouTube famous or whatever. You wouldn't get YouTube famous playing this character anyway, so it's more for my sort of notes. I can just go back and listen and be like, yeah, if I've got a tournament coming up, and be like, that's what I think about that matchup. And if anybody else finds this helpful, you're welcome. All 10 Simon players out there, we got this. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for listening. See you on the ultimate one, and goodbye.